Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turn. I'm here with Matt Murray,
Right.
Sean Bell,
All right.
and for the last time in a long while, we have James Farley.
Hello.
More time off, James.
Do it,
Seem a bit
yeah, right.
sheepish.
Yeah, James, I thought you were going to go even higher than Sean.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
on.
go on.
There was an
Give it a-
escalation set up for you. Go on.
Give it a northern. All right.
You want me to do that, yeah?
Yeah.
That's what
Right,
we
okay.
implied.
You're right. How's that?
That's what I was. It's a bit softer. It was good.
Yeah, never do
It's
that
authentic.
again.
You're right.
We should start the show by thanking our Patreon producers, and in fact, actually, James should probably thank them because sticking most of them are fuff. Aaron Patrick,
Getting
the
paid for
QuickBooks
nothing.
chap, Simon Nelson, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights and Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gasman, Rocketman76, Smooth Monkey, Richard Sawyer, John Tempelli, Jackie Sniper, Sam Heaton, Tom S, Stan, Philip with an F, Fred Fenge, Cutty, Steve Lee, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Man, Tri-State, and we've got a new full Nels member. It's Oods. Welcome to the Croods. And thank you so much for supporting the show. Honestly, thank you so much for supporting the show. I can't thank you enough. It really does mean the world to us. And if you would like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/TCGS. Various tiers. If you want to listen to bonus shows, if you want to watch the video shows, they're all on there. If you sign up to the video tier, whatever that is, you can also watch the bonus show rather than just listen to it. What about that? Yeah,
You could
go
hire
there.
out
Patreon.com.
you could hire out a cinema, and just be like,
Yeah,
there's
send it to
the
your friends.
YouTube link. Come on,
That would
Yep.
be good, wouldn't it?
sort it
Have a
out.
word.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that? Don't it, like you go into a cinema and it's empty, so you just go outside and go, right, I've just noticed I'm the only one in there, and you just put this on instead. No
can
one
you,
else is in there.
Can you stretch this 1080p stream to 8K, please?
Patreon.com/TCGS. If you don't sign up, we'll fucking stop. We will stop.
We will.
We got quite a big week ahead of us, haven't we, Sean? Do you want to
Yes.
run us through the week's events?
So, as we all know, it's Geoff Keighley's big games bonanza this weekend. It's not E3, but it's the closest we're going to get. And it's going to be bad, but we're going to have fun with it, aren't we, lads?
Exactly. It's
We
all we've got
really,
now, so we're
really
going to make the
are.
most of it.
Absolutely.
So, this Friday, the 7th of June, at about 10 to 10 British summer time.
That's cowboy time. Isn't
I don't
it?
get it.
10 to 10, 10 to 10, 10 to 10, 10 to 10,
Nice.
10 to 10, 10 to 10.
Very
Oh,
good.
it's 10 to 10.
Very good.
Fucking hell.
Mr. Peckett. I still think you, mate. Mr.
I
Peckett.
thought that was a piece of cake. So, yeah.
No, it was Mr. Peckett. Okay, go on.
So that's going to be the main Summer Game Fest show. We're going to talk over it. I think that's going to be all four of us. But then as the night draws on, so after that, we've got Day of the Devs, and then we've got the Devolver Direct after that. I think we're going to lose James and then Dave as time
Possibly,
goes
but
on.
I do want to see. Devolver will always show some good stuff.
Yeah.
Day of the
Generally,
Devs
I think
is
the last
usually
couple have
decent.
not been as
I mean,
compelling.
also, it's
Yeah, you're
Friday
right.
night as well, so I don't know. I might stick around for
Friday
longer.
night.
We'll see.
Yeah. You can have a lie-in.
Saturday,
Like, your
Sunday.
kids don't get you up in the morning, do they, James? You
Not
have a
anymore,
lie-in.
no. They
Oh,
don't
mate, they
anymore.
never fucking did.
Are you joking?
James is definitely
Are
a
you
rollover
joking?
guy.
Are you
He's definitely a
joking?
rollover. Chen, I need my sleep. Rolling over.
I love
Taking
these
off a
preconceptions you have. You don't know what we went through. It's
I know you so well. It's
you don't.
God.
That's what's funny.
I know what you're like, boy. Go on.
Yeah, James, just get the whiskey out, or maybe something that's going to keep you awake, and then, we'll
Yeah.
just...
It's
Yeah,
Jaeger
fine.
bomb zone, isn't it? Is the
Yeah,
is
Jaegers
the-
all night.
Yeah,
So that's
Sounds
the
like a healthy
Friday.
choice.
I might do that actually. That sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
There's stuff going on Saturday, but we're busy.
Is
So,
it? Is we not doing Saturday?
nah.
What's yeah? But
Well, because
there's
basically
not
both
anything
Matt
going
and
on
I have got
Saturday.
childcare stuff on.
Well, yeah,
so neither
because
of us will
basically
be
I think
available
the one
to
at Saturday is like, it's at 8 o'clock, or it's
start at
kind of
8, yeah.
exactly bedtime,
Right,
so
right.
I'm out.
Yeah. Same.
Oh, I'm
Um,
allowed to go later, bed later than that, Matt. 8
Oh,
o'clock.
I'll have to go
That's
at 8
nothing
now.
for me, mate.
Show off.
All right.
Sunday, 9th of June, about 10 to 6, we'll start our stream for the Xbox games
Oh, God.
showcase. Goodness
God.
knows what
Yes.
that's going to be like.
Bad!
We can have a guess.
And then,
But again, like every year, that is also the one I'm most interested in because they've got to have a big year. They've got to have a big year,
They've got
guys.
to do it.
Have
It's-
a big
yeah.
year.
This is the year. They've got to have a big year this
What if
year.
they
I
come
think.
out and they go, new banjo, here's Perfect Dark, it looks amazing. here's Fable, it's coming out next week. Do you know
But
what I mean?
they probably will. Like,
we
they're
want
probably going to
that.
come out with loads of CGI trailers and say, look, we're still working on this stuff, honest. And that'll be it.
Yeah, but the problem is, fucking Nintendo do that. We all clap. But when Xbox do it, you're so used to them just not living up to their promises by now that you can't give them the same amount of slack, can you? It's a shame.
So after that, there will be a gap, and then at about 10 to 9, it's the main event, the PC gaming show. I assume you're all...
Definitely
Damn
out
straight.
for that. No chance of my showing up for that. 0%.
Oh, come
chance.
on,
They might
David,
show a graphics card, Dave.
It's
They might
secretly
hold
the
it up.
best one.
Yeah.
See, I tried
Matt,
to do that last
it's
year.
not E3 anymore. E3 is done.
I'm
Yeah.
trying.
It's over. So don't. Oh, come on, Dave. It's what we do. No, it isn't. It's what we did with E3. This is not E3.
I'm still very pumped for the PC gaming show, and I think it's gonna be great.
There you go. Well, I mean, so we know there's going to be more Citizen Sleeper 2 stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there's
That's all
other
I
things
need.
I'm excited about. I can't remember if we can
Right,
talk
if he
about
has
or not.
another weekend like this next year, do we go back to our avoiding the internet thing?
I don't know, man.
What do you mean?
This
Well, I mean,
is
if
a
you mean if
good
this is actually good and it feels like an E3 weekend.
Yeah, if it feels like an E3 weekend,
think-
then we
I
think
mean,
about this next
I
year.
think we could,
Well.
because especially for like Summer Games Fest, you could come up with some interesting stuff from that. Like, like
Yeah.
whatever you think it's going to be, or yeah. If it's over the weekend, that could work.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
what I'm looking forward to the most about all this stuff being announced this weekend is finding out what James thinks about it sometime in July when he
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd
bothers
be
to
good.
fucking return.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to
what's
the
your feedback,
podcast.
James? Well, I loved
Well,
Well,
when
all
they
the
announced
games are out now, James. We played them all. There's
the
no point
sequels will be announced now.
yes.
Yes. Okay. Fucking hate it when you
Also
do
going
that.
away in July as well, but it'll be all right.
Yeah, we know.
We've also got.
He says it'll be all right. I feel reassured.
Yeah, that's
You're
great.
going away in July.
And
Yeah, I told
June
you
and
this.
July.
You're going
Are you
to
taking?
fucking
Are
Vienna.
you seriously taking the piss now, James, or are you being real?
I've got to go to Vienna. I told you this.
Are
But
you
it's-
here in
it's all right.
August, or is that asking him too much?
No, it's fine because I'm taking my microphone with me. There's internet.
Do you
it's
know how
fine.
many times I've heard this man say, yeah, how many times has that worked, James? When you've taken the
No,
microphone
it
with
has
you?
worked many times. One time it hasn't worked. One time
Okay.
it didn't
Alright,
work.
okay,
When
I'll
I went-
believe you on that
and that's when I went to Edinburgh. And the other times it's worked every single time.
My favourite is that I've heard, what, it didn't work when you went to Edinburgh? That was the one
No.
where you...
Yeah, he
right.
went Premier Inn, wasn't he?
That was the
That was
Premier
the-
Inn debacle.
Name and
yeah.
shame. Premier in.
I still...
Bad broadband.
I
Don't-
still
don't you
love, I
remember?
still love the fact that I've heard James say, and that's it now, that's it for the year, about 8 times.
He said that in January.
Oh, don't you
Are you-
remember when
are
I
you
did that one
hearing-
from Switzerland? There was all the fireworks in the background.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was a
Um,
nightmare to edit. Are you in
yeah,
September?
I was
You-
so
you- are
glad
you
you
here
took
in
your
August?
microphone, mate.
August?
Oh, it's all good. Yeah,
September?
It's all good for it's
So
absolutely
August,
fine. Yeah,
So after Vienna,
yeah.
there's no other time. There's no more time off other
No,
than
none.
being sick or whatever.
0. Yeah.
Okay, someone
Okay.
clip that.
I'm gonna do every single show up until the end of the year. You'll see.
Why,
Here we
why are
go.
you saying that?
Oh
Here we
God, we'll be desperate for a break.
He'd be sick of you. Man.
There we go, because I guarantee you won't be in one in August. Anyway, not to go over old ground again. We've got something to work on, haven't we? We're going to put out. Are we actually going to put out what we were talking about? That the bingo card is that
Bingo
going
card.
out, or was
Yes,
that
I
just?
think
I mean,
Right.
I was doing it for I don't think anyone's ever actually going to be able to get bingo
Any
on
of
them. I think it was more just I was just
It's
putting funny
possible.
things in.
Let's,
I think
let's
redefined.
What if? Hold on. What if we did a bingo card,
Mm-hmm.
but instead of like, oh look, putting it on Twitter and stuff, we just have it up on the screen during the presentation, and we can tick it off.
I've already
players with-
designed the layouts, Dave.
Yeah,
Oh, shit,
we'll
yes.
do them
Sorry
again,
about that.
Sean.
We'll do it again. Think of something not hard, is
Sure.
it? Just put bingo in.
Can you not like on the main screen? Can you not just occasionally flash it up like big? and
I
then-
could, yeah, I could. I mean, I could just pull it up as and when,
Yeah.
and you can
So,
take
yeah.
things off. And
All right, okay. So what will be on that bingo card? We'll go round. What's a good shout, Matt? What would you have on there?
So is this for all of them or just the Xbox one?
I've only
Just the
started the
Xbox
Xbox one so far.
It's just for the Xbox.
The
We've just
Xbox
got
one. No one
Xbox.
cares about the Summer Games Fest. Come on, just
You
the
are
Xbox one.
absolutely right, James. You are absolutely right on that one. Go on. Matt, in your own time.
We hear you.
We hear you's a good
So
one.
what Matt's doing there is he's nicking one that's already on
Yeah.
it that James
I
came
just
up
thought I'd have a look. I haven't actually looked at the thing.
Did you think of maybe tough decisions, Matt? That'd be another.
That's on there. Yeah.
with. Shall I go
hear
through?
you. Why are you crediting that to James?
Because James suggested putting that on.
Yeah.
What, in the WhatsApp group?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I suggested it during the podcast a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we
He's
also talked
not
about
got
that.
an original idea in his head.
We already talked about this before. In fact, I even talked about that before you talked about it on the show, David.
Oh, okay. I'll just take that as gospel then.
Yeah,
you
you
never
should.
like to get out of sticky situations.
You should.
Go on,
should.
Sean.
This is
So
going
what
well.
have you got? What have you got on there?
So
have you got
far,
on
so
there?
yes, I've got quote tough decisions and quote we hear you. I've got Spencer comes out wearing a James Farley 90s Dream t-shirt. I reckon that's why we're getting copyright struck.
Yes, that's why the t-shirt's gone.
Doesn't want anyone else ruining that.
Yeah.
I've got Mike Ibarra patrols around the audience telling them to quote knock it off and threatening to punch them if they're being mean about Phil Spencer.
Decent, possible.
I've got there's a little series. I've got Don Matrick is back to fucking sort everything out. and I've also got Jay Allard is back to fucking sort everything out. And Kudos Tsunoda is back to fucking sort everything out.
Imagine if they announced that, right? Say that did actually happen. Imagine announcing it at this thing. People are like, look, Jay Allard's back. And half the audience are going, who's Jay Allard?
He's on like a motorbike.
No, he's on a skateboard. He does a sick ollie.
I've also got Discless Series X, $800.
That's the Matt Murray
Bargain.
square, that one.
Bargain.
That's the Matt Murray square.
So as you can tell, I'm not really taking it too seriously.
Yeah, no one's going to get bingo, are they?
We could actually just fill the rest of the spaces with like, this game's got a trailer now. This game's got a release date or whatever.
Yeah,
but
but
that's what everyone
where's the
else
fun in
does,
that?
Dave. When they
where's the
dig,
fun in
we
that?
zag. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so this is just pre-recorded, isn't it? So that would be the good thing about doing it for the Geoff Keighley one, because you could say someone runs up on stage, because it happened the last couple of years.
But we're not doing it for the.
So I
Geoff
can't
Keighley
say
one, Matt. So I
streaker
don't
is
know
what I'm
why
going to say. Or
I don't know why
protester, I
you've-
can't do that.
Why are you putting this in here? We've established that we're not doing that.
But
We're doing
also
the Xbox one.
the running up on stages during the Game of the Year thing, anyway. Not Game of the Year, during the award show, not during
That's
Summer
true,
Games
yeah,
Fest.
yeah.
Well, I'm sure
There's
that same person will probably find a way to get into this as well.
I reckon they'll announce. Oh no, will they? No, they're not going to announce a new game coming out on. No, they won't. They won't announce any games coming out on PlayStation yet.
No, they won't.
That-
Oh,
they'll
they
wait
wouldn't
for
announce that
they'll
here,
let
right?
PlayStation
Yeah, let's save that for a blog.
Yeah.
Can we do a shadow drop of any sort?
Yeah, Shadow
We've got
Drop's fine.
Silks on, haven't we? Oh,
So
Shadow
Silk
Drop's
Song's,
a-
Silk Song's already on there.
Yeah, but that's not a Shadow Drop because we know that's coming.
Yeah, that's true,
Right,
yeah, that's
so a Shadow Drop's a good one.
Can we
A
do
Shadow
like
Drop.
game preservation is mentioned in some way?
Yeah,
Like,
because they
yeah.
set up that new team for it, didn't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because usually with it, because they got no games, they always talk about game preservation as being something they're doing. So I don't know, maybe like I don't want to say Dreamcast games or something like that, but something will be there.
Can we have
Something.
one that says Bumlick Sony and one that says Bumlick Nintendo?
Yeah, get
Because
them on
it'll
there.
be like because I've just got a feeling we all know that they're gonna slowly start. They'll say something like, "We admire our friends.
We
over
love our
at
partners."
Nintendo," or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that, and you're gonna go, "Oh, he's building up to releasing all their games on there. He's gonna eke it out over the
No,
months."
what year was it, or what presentation was it when you had all three kind of leaders at a time together? Was that
I
any?
remember that.
Was that any free?
Wasn't that
Dunno.
shortly after?
No, it was
wasn't
a Game
E3.
Awards.
It was
the
yeah,
Game
it was
Awards.
a Game Awards
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
Yeah, because Geoff Keighley was claiming it.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
I
he's
made
like
this
he's
happen.
yeah he's managed to build bridges, and the console war is over thanks to Geoff Keighley.
Yeah, well, the-
Maybe
well,
they'll try and
console war's
recreate
over
that.
more- The console was over more because of Xbox. They just decided to give up. Any other suggestions for this? New hairstyle, new hairdo. Phil Spencer, new hairdo.
Phil Spencer's now bald.
Oh,
He's
Just
going
walks
the
out in
J.
bald.
Allard
Would you
style.
cheer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
would you cheer, Sean? Would you be like, yes?
I would feel represented. Yes.
How about they're bringing back Guitar Hero?
Oh well,
They
that's
do own
kinda
it now,
happening,
don't
isn't
they?
it?
Yeah,
yeah.
and there was
Isn't that
talk
kinda
recently.
happening? Yeah, because they've released a new guitar for the Xbox, haven't they? Or it's on the way.
Have they?
Yeah, well, so someone has done that for the Fortnite festival thing, but
Yeah.
That's
an actual
right.
full Guitar Hero. I mean, it's in they've got
That
it
is
in
a
their
good shout.
library now. Why not?
That's a good shout.
Can-
New Guitar Hero game.
Can we go Lost Vikings T-shirt
Yes,
on Phil Spencer?
that's a good shout.
Well, what I was going to suggest, no T-shirt, just bare chest.
Just bare chest. And he just keeps slapping his.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that.
like, what
And
is he
makes a point,
teasing
and he's
now?
like, I've done this in honor of the studios that we've lost this year. This is
The shirt's off my
how I'm
back.
honouring them.
Or
Yeah.
just covered in tattoos of game studios. Yeah, that it's
No, just loads of Wookiees from Jedi Fallen Order.
You
Just loads of-
bastard.
I got this idea from my favourite pod, he says.
Yeah.
My favourite pod. I won't
That's
tell
what-
you
yeah.
what it is, though.
No.
And
Yeah,
we'll be
yeah.
sitting there just absolutely fuming.
Yeah, I refuse to acknowledge it to help them out.
With the gaming podcast best kept secret, Dave.
Yeah, we're the podcasters. What is it? It's in the podcasters
podcast.
Yeah, all
yeah.
the podcasters love us.
Yeah, I mean, I
Just
think
don't want anyone to know about us. That's the problem. Do we sound bitter at this point? Do we sound because the numbers are going up?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there's still part
Slowly.
of me that's angry that some people won't acknowledge that we're alive.
Yeah.
That still
The numbers are
gets to me
going
a
up,
little
and
bit.
we're aiming to be, quit our jobs, be self sufficient by about, sort of 2163.
then we go
If
full
If
time
it
in this
continues
baby.
on this path, then yeah, no, it's going to be a little bit longer than that. But we'll it's-
Well, I think one of these boxes has to be mentions TCGS. Because
Yeah.
imagine. Like, okay, everyone,
Yeah.
that's incredible, balls, but it's just one box, so don't get too excited. Don't get too
well, if he
excited.
speaks like that, we're going to turn off because he's clearly not getting his words out. It's going to be a long day if he's. Sorry, Matt. Sorry. What? Was that mean? Was that too far? Was
No,
that
it's
mean?
fine.
I love you.
Doesn't feel
Um,
fine.
I'm very, very tired, so my
Well, did you guys
my
see
normal
Peter Kay last
happening
night?
comedy is maybe not on the same level.
I can't think of any more, to be honest with you. Sea of Thieves
probably enough.
DLC.
DLC for what, sorry?
Sea of Thieves, based around what's another boat thing? Titanic
boat
DLC
thing.
for
How about the
Titanic
how about the
DLC.
Oxford Cambridge boat race?
Yes. That'll work. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves Minecraft crossover.
Yeah.
Actually, that sounds pretty fucking
That could be
good.
brilliant, actually.
That's actually pretty fucking good, right?
Put it in the
I'll delete this from the show and then we'll pitch it.
Yeah.
Okay. Microsoft.
Pitch it.
And we'll
Yeah,
not
we'll
mention
pitch it up,
mocktail soup ever. We're coming up with it.
It wasn't Mocktail Soup that said it. It was Phil Wall. Well, and all Phil Wall said was Minecraft. I don't know.
Little sleeps at home like, what the fuck did I do wrong?
What the fuck did I do?
Okay, bonus bingo card. Bonus card. Bingo card should be coming your way very soon. Oh, should we get some feedback?
And,
from
and you can look at it and go, yeah, that sure is all the things you mentioned on the show written down in front of me now. Thanks.
yeah. Should we do the feedback from last week's show? I forgot about the feedback. Hold on.
You should actually.
Got some in.
Oh,
look
speaking
who
of
it
which,
is. Look who it is.
it's this prick, Mocktail Soup, has
Oh
messaged.
yeah.
Evening, lads. I wanted to throw my hat in the ring with the Hellblade section from episode 403 and say that I'm in Matt's camp in terms of opinion. Apologies for a long bit of feedback. You know what? It's fine. It's totally fine, Mocktail Soup. I will read every word of this. To preface, the first game is an all-timer for me, and I've often described it as a perfect storm in that it was exactly what I wanted from gaming when it dropped. Even if I would put it in the same category as Life is Strange, where there are games I absolutely love that I don't recommend to people. I fully get the criticisms you raised around the combat, but to me, the simplicity and more one-on-one fights felt more enjoyable and like there were less pressure on them to God of War, which I felt got bogged down in its combat in terms of enemy numbers and the sheer amount of fights, almost early Pokemon-esque. At the time of writing, I'm in a similar place in the story to Dave. 3/3.5 hours in, post-cave section. Part of what is carrying me is I absolutely love the story from the first game and am so heavily invested in Senua's journey that it's been so nice getting to spend time with her again. From the Fenrir fight in Game 1, I realised I was emotionally invested in her story, and the final Hela encounter through to the end of the game hit me like a train. It was the first time a meant-to-lose fight has made me not want to lose. The start of the new game has been admittedly a slow burn, but I haven't disliked being on the journey and have loved exploring the environment, searching for the lore markers and hidden faces. I've always felt to me that Ninja Theory were building onto something. Or building to something. TLDR, game is subjective, everyone's right, everyone's wrong, love the show.
Yeah, I mean, look.
There's a bit more Hellblade feedback. Should we go to the second bit?
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
hold
do-
on.
Dave's
I was
gonna read. Okay.
I was just saying, Mock Turtle Soup, if you enjoy the game, I'm happy for you. What have you got to say to Mock Turtle Soup, James?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as he said here, gaming opinions are subjective, and I've already given my subjective opinions on the game last week, so I don't think I need
Right,
to.
okay. I'd believe that that's how you felt if you weren't smirking throughout that whole bit of feedback
was
and
not.
raising your eyebrows at every point that you didn't agree with. And when he laid into God of War and comparing it to this, you sort of bit your thumb a little bit as if to say, I really want to scream at this guy. So don't give it all the big
Outrageous.
James. Right, let's get to the next bit.
Disrespectful.
Of Hellblade
Rachel's message. I've been playing Hellblade 2 since hearing chatter about it on the show. I'm autistic and as a result have a hard time interacting with people, which has often led to me being shunned from a lot of social situations. This has led to me seeing a lot of myself in Senua, so getting to experience her journey has been a really personal experience. The first game paralleled my own journey in overcoming my mental health struggles, bar the whole carrying my boyfriend's head into hell to face the goddess of death bit, more in a metaphorical sense, and coming to accept myself as a person. 2017 was also the period I realised I'm asexual, so bonus points on that. I see Hellblade 2 as Senua learning to help other people like Iruga overcome their trauma, which again parallels my steps into becoming a counsellor to work with other autistic young people. Yeah, the combat isn't great, but that is a minor detail to me. Like Dave said about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, to me the differences between the two games are like comparing a 10 out of 10 to a 9.5. Love the show and look forward to Gotti season as ever.
Yeah, I mean, I've look. If you think I'm sitting here saying that this game is, I didn't like this game, and I'll talk about it again in a bit. But I didn't like this game at all. Right? If you ever think that I think my opinion is the be all and end all, that's not how I think. Other than against these three, right? My opinion is more important than the other three on the podcast. But in the general, in the greater scheme of things, it's not. You just got to remember that I loved Harold Halibut. And there are a lot of people out there, many on the show, that did not like Harold Halibut. And that's the way it goes sometimes, baby. It's fine. I fully accept that. James, your thoughts on all this positive Hellblade feedback?
I mean, as I said, I did not hate that game by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh,
We actually fucking sounded like
it. This is the worst
What?
thing you do when it comes to this.
I said
when it comes
last week repeatedly, I didn't hate the game. I just
I know you
highlighted
said that,
some of
yes.
the things that I didn't. I
Yes,
I
you
wasn't
did.
so keen on. But
Yes, you did.
other people have got more out of this game than I have,
Right.
and that's
But-
great.
Here's what you do,
Go on.
right? To try and avoid getting shit, you say, I didn't hate this game.
I didn't.
And then you spend 10 minutes ripping it to shreds, right? Do you
It's
remember-
not true.
do you
I
know-
mentioned a number
you-
of things that I liked
listen,
about it.
Listen to me. Do you remember another game that you said that you didn't hate? Detroit Become Human.
Yeah, I know.
Detroit Become Human. You said this isn't a bad game, then slated it for 30 minutes and
30
not
minutes is
nominated
like
it.
30 months. It was a constant joke.
Well, yeah, he was only on the show for 30 minutes during those 30 months.
Good
though.
point, yes. Well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Listen, this is what you do so that you can go, I said I didn't hate it.
Okay,
David,
look,
so
I'm
getting out of
He's
it.
just
It's my
clearly
small
scared
print.
of
Okay, I
Rachel,
was-
my
Rachel
small
and
print.
Mocktail Soup. That's basically what it is.
Okay,
He's scared and he's
I-
now backtracking.
I was lying about Detroit. I didn't like that game, but this one, bit different.
But this time,
Go on.
you see, we know he's
bit
being honest
different.
because he's admitting that he lied before.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
now,
so he
now,
can't do a double lie.
now you know you can trust me. And so,
I wouldn't trust you as far as I could.
Scared of
fucking
Rachel,
live.
basically. Scared of Rachel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
scared of
yeah,
Rachel.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That might be the episode
Unable to
title.
deal with it. Can't.
Well done, Rachel. You've
Yeah.
scared the Farley.
Yeah.
Which is not
Which
easy.
is
We've seen him
He'll
play
put
survival
one
horror
of those
games.
Gotti as well.
the episode title.
Yeah.
Right.
Was that Scared of Farley?
Scared
of
of
Rachel.
Farley.
Scared of Farley.
Scared of Rachel. No, because could you imagine being Rachel sending that bit of feedback in and then seeing that that's what the title
Yeah,
of the
it's probably
show is?
not.
Yeah, that's
not
not
good.
nice, is it?
Yeah, not
Anyway,
nice.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Rachel. I did
Yes.
not, but that's all fine, isn't it? We're all friends here. We're all friends here. James,
Apart
Yeah.
from
like,
James.
didn't hate it. He didn't hate it.
Didn't hate
So-
it. I just had to point out some of the problems I had with it. You know.
Okay, all right.
Some of the problems.
You had to catch your breath then.
Yeah. I just muted at the wrong time, but
Look, the game had a couple of issues. Yeah,
fuck
that
off, James. You said about a million issues last week.
It's true.
It wasn't a couple. Anything I was saying, you were laughing, smirking to yourself.
I mean, I'm getting off quite lightly here. I also thought the game wasn't good.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about
Wanker.
it again later.
But equally, would never want to take away, like what Rachel's got out of it, and there will be
Yeah,
loads
exactly.
of people in that position. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, 100%. Right, let's move on.
Don Vito Vianetta. Hi lads, long time, first time, etc. Just wanted to state that I would take a Star Trek podcast from Sean and James over David's Would You Rathers or guess the IMDb score of an Alistair McGowan VHS any day of the week. Keep up the great work. Keep being natural.
Yeah, I'm feeling maybe the magic is coming off a little bit. I'm a little bit concerned about it, Don. You're right to pull me up on that. I will take that on board. Yeah, I can't. You're absolutely
So
right. I
if the
apologise.
Patreon starts flagging, me and James will sort it.
Yeah.
Which means that you'll be sorting it, Sean. We all know that that's how that's going to end up.
That
right?
is outrageous.
It's fine. Like, all we've got to do is just survive until my next holiday, and then there'll be plenty of
That's
stories,
good,
probably
isn't it?
broken bone, God knows what
Content,
happened in personal
yeah,
life,
yeah.
and then we'll go for another 6 months. So,
Have you got a holiday
when-
booked, Matt?
no,
going to
I'll
Vienna
push it
next
on
month?
book. Just
Yeah.
Sean,
Yeah.
I was away with him the weekend. At one point, he said, "Oh yeah, no, it should be all right by the time I go next week, though. Next year, though, when I go to snowboarding next year." I
yeah.
was like, "You're
Well, also, you go back.
You're not going to go back."
Why?
Yes, he
Why
is.
not? It's broken. I've
You've
got
told me
another
your,
wrist.
yeah, but you've told me that your main hand, your dominant
Left
hand,
wrist.
you've got 20% of the power back in it.
At the moment, I need to do some more exercises. It'll get up to 25.
Yeah, just fling
Well, there
yourself
you go
down
then.
another
It's
fucking
fine.
mountain, then, mate.
I've got to go back on the slopes, baby. Need a mad
I'm
power.
going to go back to the same place and be like, this time
Yeah.
the
No,
mountain
in
will
that
break.
week I did go back at the end of the week to that same place where the bones are broken, and I did it without breaking the other wrist. So up yours,
there you go.
heel.
Oh, where's Dave gone?
Oh,
Don't
Dave
worry
was too
about it. Keep
scared.
going. Don't worry
Okay,
about
no
it.
worries.
Dave, what are you doing? We can hear you, you
Don't worry
know.
about it. Yeah, I know you can.
What's that sound he's making? What's
Just
what,
that
Dave?
the chat about wrist strength really set him off. He's turned his
no.
camera
Yeah,
off.
I was crying.
What, Dave, why are you
No.
smoking a cigarette now?
No, I needed to blow my nose.
Is that what you call it?
It's
You
not,
dirty, dirty boy. Right,
on
Luke
him.
Summerhays. Hey, brothers. At around the 8-minute mark this week, the last week. Come on, Luke. Think about when you're emailing. Think about when we're.
time.
Sorry.
Yeah.
About the 8-minute mark last week, Dave said kids get the S because no parent wants to buy them a £400 console. He might be interested to know that games aren't just played by kids in their bedrooms anymore. It's a billion-dollar industry worth more than music and films combined. Some games are for adults now, and almost half as adults are girls.
What?
That is
You are
that's
kidding me.
surprising. That is surprising.
That
Isn't
is
it?
a shocker.
On all levels. Thanks for putting me right there, Luke. I'm going to look into that though because I don't believe it.
No.
If I'm honest.
Emily, hi guys. I've listened to it since moving in with my boyfriend over lockdown. I'm so sorry.
I presume you've since left him.
Yeah, I was going to
like the
say. Yeah,
fact
it doesn't say X here. I mean,
I was
You know,
forced to listen to the podcast because we legally couldn't leave.
yeah. Hi guys, I've listened since moving in with my boyfriend over lockdown. He would listen to it out loud, and I've always enjoyed the banter between you all, despite not being much of a gamer. I've listened ever since, and I've had multiple TCGS dreams. Okay, I'm writing
I
in.
want to hear what those
Don't
are. Are they
be-
all James Farley?
That is.
What?
You don't. Matt's being filthy.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't because that's out of order. It's more that there's then no more talk about the dreams after, and I want to know. I need
No,
more
fine.
data.
Felt like you were
I'm
thrown
finally
by it a
writing
little
in.
bit.
I like the surreal ones even more. Like, I looked up at a skyscraper and it wasn't a skyscraper, it was James Farley on a unicorn. You know, like it's shit like that. I love stuff like that make no sense. I had one the other night where my dad had finally come to see Harry play football, and I turned around and he had long hair. And I was like, where's that come
What
from?
was the one
Like,
someone sent us? Weren't they in like a portaloo that was being carried by a plane? And one of us was, I can't remember.
And James
Yeah,
was
it
in a
tends to be
toilet
stuff
bowl.
like-
plane. Yeah, they're the best ones. Anyway, sorry.
Yep.
Let's.
Yes,
continue.
Emily continues. I'm finally writing in because I'm surprised no one has said James should get an Isabel from Animal Crossing tattoo. I'm a few weeks behind, so apologies if this has been mentioned already. Thanks for the endless hours of entertainment. Well, if you're a few weeks behind, Emily, then there's a real doozy of an episode if you haven't got to that bit where we
Well,
discuss the tattoo bet in detail.
I've got the tattoo artist has agreed to come on a bonus show, so that's happening. Spoke to them yesterday, and they confirmed that they will be coming on to a bonus show. So I'm looking forward to that. I haven't. That's the first time you've heard that, but that actually happened. Do we give James the opportunity to trade? No,
Ooh.
don't say anything, James. I'm just wondering, do we give James the opportunity to trade the Wookiee for Isabel? Remembering the running joke about how James really fancies Isabel from Animal Crossing.
He might
it's
change
not
the
down to me, it's
location.
down to you, Matt. It's down to you whether you want to offer him that trade.
Oh, do I want to give him? Yeah, because I think if he has the opportunity to have Isabel, he'll probably move it to his upper thigh or something. Because
Right.
he won't be on his back because he needs to see.
Sorry,
Isabel every day.
Chris in the chat just said pin-up style Isabel.
Oh, what? Like when the guy takes a picture of David Brent.
Yeah, that.
Yes, Isabel doing the David Brent with KK Slider holding a camera, saying maybe if you just sit down.
Yeah. Or, like there will be pictures of like Southern Bells, maybe those are pilots holding up maybe in front of an airplane. I'm thinking like 12 Wookiees holding up Isabel as a pin-up. You get best of both worlds then,
Go
don't you?
too far. I love the fact that you go too far. Yeah, do you want one Wookiee tattooed on you, James, or do you want 12 holding Isabel in front of a plane?
Well, we don't need a plane. Let's not go silly.
Okay, well, maybe we'll think about that. Maybe we'll come back to that idea because I do like it. I do like it because there is that sort of the backstory to Isabel. But then if it's Isabel, then maybe it should be the Night in the Woods one for Matt. Well, no, we come up with an idea.
No, sticking with a Wookiee.
Ah,
I think we
let's-
should stick with the Wookiee because it's like
okay, we stick with the Wookiee.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Okay,
I'm actually
Raptor
feeling
title.
bad about this happening, you know.
I'm actually feeling okay
Why?
about it. I'm actually quite excited now.
yeah, it's fine, isn't it?
Well, it's
Do you know
fine
what
for
I'm
you because
excited
you're going to
about?
win.
Is that we've been informed that we have to do this on a Sunday, which means James has probably got to fly back on a Monday and be on that podcast, otherwise he breaks his promise.
Oh shit. That's...
Yeah, next bit of feedback.
No, it's
please,
fine.
Matt
It's
Murray.
fine. I can sort it out.
Or do
You'll
we
see.
all no? Do we not all just record an episode together on the Sunday night?
Nah.
Wow.
I mean, we could do. Because Sean's thinking about the drive back the next day.
I think Molly
Okay,
edit
day off
the
is fine.
quality.
Let's move
Right, Jimmy, I wanted to chime in. I wanted to chime in with a vasectomy experience
on. Okay.
that depends. Shall I start again? I
Yeah.
want to chime in that a vasectomy experience depends on the quality of your doctor.
Why are we reading this? It's like it's really
Because
long,
Jimmy's
and it's
messaged
like-
us.
I know, but it's like this is a
I think
video
these things
games
should be
podcast.
spoken about.
It's like
Yeah, but
James, we
Yeah,
go
stop.
off topic all the time.
yeah, yeah.
This
It's
is
Stop
no
just
different.
gatekeeping
he's got a
vasectomy
weird
stories.
phobia of a vasectomy.
I
James.
have. I just don't. Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't want to deprive the world of my seed, David.
Why
start
would
us
we
again.
cut humanity off from that well of?
Ugh, I didn't think of it well. I just hope Ian doesn't fall down that one. Let's go.
I want to chime in that. Okay, let's
How
just.
many
Start
times
again,
are we
Matt. Come on, we got
starting?
this, mate. Come on. Everyone
Okay,
look at
sorry,
Matt.
I'm going to blame
Go
the writer. I want to chime in. A vasectomy experience depends on the quality of your doctor, and it's worth waiting on a good one. You know, this is a good story when it starts
How
with that.
do you- No, how you can't.
So they're not in the
Wait.
UK.
Oh, okay, fair enough. That makes sense then.
My buddy had his done at the local urologist down the road, and had to be sedated hours beforehand, and ending up getting. Oh God, maybe James was right. and
Right,
ended up.
okay, yeah. So getting over having an accident and bleeding. Right, yeah. We don't need to read this. Look, it's
That's what I'm saying. Why are you reading this? It's like it's.
Because
I'm
it's
not.
informative.
Matt's reading it.
Yeah, there's
And
inform.
bits of
Yeah,
it are
you
funny.
can inform people about something like this. You don't need to go into the extremely gory details.
It
Like,
probably
you know,
could have
it's-
been. Probably could have got into more detail, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I guess all we're here to say is, I hope your friend recovered, and 48 months in hospital was fine, but I'm sure they'll be fine now. Right, let's move on. Alvin Parsnips.
48 months. Who says 48 months?
I don't know. I just had I wanted to think of a big number, and I guess I should have said 4 years, but I wanted to do months because I thought it'd be funnier.
I'm so sorry.
a lot
Can
of
we
stuff.
just read out? So Jimmy then goes into the experience he had with this brilliant doctor. During the procedure, he was training a physician in the room and had her take photos with my phone of what he was doing while narrating the whole thing as if it was a college lecture.
Right.
He said I could watch, so I propped myself up on my elbows and had a front row seat for the entire thing. Fucking hell.
That
No,
is
so I
mad.
just-
No, I think mine was trouble because if you remember, while it was happening, I nudged his elbow.
So it's your fault.
Yeah, so I think that's where I went wrong, mate.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
where I
were
went
you like,
wrong.
going, can I have a look? Can I have a look? And you were like,
Well, it
Well,
wasn't just nudging the elbow. It was the thud I heard afterwards on the floor. Next bit of feedback.
Okay, last bit of feedback. Alvin Parsnips. Sean is the best one, just for the record.
Alvin Parsnips. Well, we traced
Alvin.
your
AKA Sean
IP
Bell.
address. and
Honestly, when I saw that in the feedback form, I was
Sean's
like,
Bell.
is it going to turn out Alvin Parsnips is like a funny anagram for something?
Of Sean's a twat.
Yeah, probably. But I couldn't find anything, so thank you, Alvin, which is, I'm sure, your real name.
Yeah.
That
That is it for feedback.
You sounded so guilty then. Thanks so much for your feedback. We look forward to hearing your feedback on this week's show. But James won't hear that. News. James Farley, what have you got in the news? It's been quite busy this week, I think.
it has.
Relatively.
I mean, there was a state of play, but we'll come to that because before that, the PlayStation CEOs did their first sort of like talking about what they were going to be doing and like where they were going in the future and all that kind of stuff. So they opened this. It was their Game and Network Services business segment.
Business related. It was business related. You sounded like they come out and said we're going golf. We're golfing next week, and then Sean's he's got like a party to go to, but he's not too sure about. He doesn't know the guy that well.
Yeah,
Bit of a
I'm out
weird
in
update
town
on that.
tonight. What else? Decorating on Sunday, probably.
Yeah, so
we're trying to have a bit of fun.
Yeah,
James.
James,
Sorry,
you really
mate.
gotta, keep with the.
I was just waiting for the banter to stop, and then it just suddenly.
Well,
did.
it
Wow.
will
You know.
never. So,
Yeah, you know what show you're on, yeah.
Well, anyway, first of all, they
Bantercast.
boasted that each PlayStation 5 sold had generated over $700 of additional spend, which apparently is much higher than the previous generation. Then they
Because
started.
the games are more expensive.
Well, obviously, yeah, but that was the thing. But then they also talked about how they're going to keep the high quality of their single-player games.
Quality.
How do you think they might be doing that, Sean?
Is it doubling down on the successes of their existing franchises? I don't know. I can't know.
No.
Come on.
They're outsourcing to external development teams and utilizing AI.
AI.
Yeah.
Oh,
AI.
good.
Yes.
So
That's
this is
really going to
So this is
maintain
an investor
quality.
thing. This is like aimed at the investors.
So
Look,
this-
we're
Yeah, they
going
had to get
be
AI in.
expanding and spending less.
yeah.
That's what they're saying. Right.
So do you want to hear what they said about AI, or is it?
I
you
don't
don't
Yeah,
know
know?
if I
please,
do.
yeah.
Did they
Right.
say it was really cool?
He said, we all see opportunities in AI to level up our own productivity and enhance player experiences, enabling us to better serve players and creators, create new experiences, and drive organisation-wide efficiencies. We have been realising the benefits of AI in several areas, from assets creation to efficiency to accelerating coding to optimising translation and localisation processes, all while ensuring a responsible and ethical approach across the organisation. We believe that AI holds great promise for the future of gaming. We want to lead the industry in the adoption and implementation of this new technology. So it's quite a long quote and not very interesting. So
Well, thanks for
AI.
reading it for us then.
I know I thought you'd enjoy it. And then they started talking about live service games and the fact that live service games are going to launch on PC and PS5 simultaneously. That's going to be
That
what's
makes
going to
sense.
happen going
Yeah.
forward. But single player games will launch on PS5 and then PC releases will come like later. And they made this thing where they said that the reason they're doing this is that they're hoping to entice people by playing the old games on PC that it'll make them want to go and buy a PS5.
That
But
makes absolute sense,
yeah,
doesn't it?
But
I mean, yes and no.
Yeah, I think so.
PC players are
yes
pretty
and yes.
pretty stubborn. Like
Yeah. But
PC
if you
players will
play-
be like, "Oh, it's only on Epic. Well, I'll see you in a year then when it comes on
Yeah.
Steam." Like,
But if they're playing Spider-Man, just for example, they played Spider-Man on PC, and then there's also all this marketing about Spider-Man 2, and they don't know when that's coming to PC. I don't know. I can see that working. Not on everyone, obviously, but I can see that having an impact.
Yeah,
sure.
I think so for sure. I mean, like, we'll come to news about some God of War news, but if they play the first one, then I'm not going to wait. I guess that's between 2 years, isn't it? And now they know the cadence of comes out on PlayStation and single player experience is going to be 2 years. You're right. Like, if they love the previous one, like, I don't want to wait 2 years. They might want to just get it on get a PlayStation and get playing on that way.
yeah, I mean, I think Sean's right. I think people just wait or don't care. I think it's just the way it is. But they were also quizzed about the layoffs as well. And Herman Holst, he said, "We're always looking to optimize the resource allocation on an ongoing basis. But I think specifically what you're referring to in recent months and quarters is probably a slight adjustment. He didn't say that, on the back of the windfall that the industry saw during the pandemic. So that might be reflective of that rather than impacting the long-term growth of the industry, which I believe in general is in a very good place. But I see this as an adjustment of the pandemic years." So 10,000 odd people.
which is not incorrect.
I was
But
going to say, yeah, I mean, I agree. Yeah, it is definitely that.
but also, could you talk about it like a human being, please?
I mean, I wouldn't say like 10,000 people or whatever is a slight adjustment. I mean, that's a lot of people. Yeah. And then they also talked about Bungie, and they were talking about the fact that although at the moment there isn't like a financial return on Destiny, like apparently it's not doing so well as it were, but then they're not bothered about that because it's all about the live service games and the fact that they've been like Bungie have been assisting with basically all of their live service stuff.
Yeah.
And
See, I honestly think so. The final shape is out this week, isn't it? Yeah. Which they've specifically said it's the end of the Light and Dark saga, but they've not said it's the end of Destiny 2. I think it probably is the end of Destiny 2.
Yeah.
And I think they're probably, and that may not have been their choice, right? They maybe have been like, no, we're going to wrap this story up and then we'll keep doing Destiny 2 stuff. But I think the way the numbers have gone and the way Sony are being, I think they'll have been told, like, no, wrap that up. We want the next thing now. And which will be multiple things, right? Obviously, we know about the new marathon.
Yeah.
And
Will there be another Destiny?
I think it'll be another Destiny or something similar.
Yeah. I think the name's too good, right? And there's a lot of people that dropped out during the length of Destiny 2, which isn't a bad thing to say about Destiny 2. It's just some people get bored, they move on. That's fine. But
plus if you missed a few months of it, it's fucking incomprehensible. So there's also that.
So
if you can fully hit the reset,
I think
get a new one out that's like a fresh start.
Yeah,
I think that'd be interesting.
Odd plat.
Yeah.
What I didn't realize until I heard on Remap, Sean, was that that the final shape leaked.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess I've been busy, but I didn't hear about that.
They accidentally did it, didn't they?
The new Destiny DLC with like the raid and all sorts. It went live accidentally for a few hours, and people playing
for a game like that is a fucking disaster as well.
Yeah, that's
when there's
terrible.
so much about the sort of pageantry of the first the expansion comes out, we give people a couple of days, then the raid goes live, and it's like a whole event. People like really planned stuff around it. So for it to just sort of get farted out early is really shit.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and then, I mean, the final thing they said was the PS5 generation is the PlayStation's most profitable console to date. But as you said, Sean, it's because everything's much more expensive. So almost certainly that's why they're making a lot more cash out of it. And then after this, we had the State of Play, which I know you and David did the talks over for.
It's a very good stream.
I watched it later.
I watched it tonight.
Yeah. I thought this was shocking.
Shocking?
Yeah.
Really? I thought it was shocking.
Okay, not your stream, but I mean, okay. Astrobot looks brilliant. Like, I cannot wait for that. And the fact that it's coming 6th of September, really pleased about that. Alien Rogue Incursion, also, I'm quite interested in that because I love Alien games, and it's VR. It looks pretty interesting. And that was it. Like, there was nothing else there that I saw that
I
really
thought Monster
excited
Hunter
me.
looked really good.
Monster Hunter did look really good, but it's not exclusive.
Right,
Like I
okay,
was,
but that doesn't.
in terms of
that doesn't matter,
in
does
terms
it?
of it being
In
an
terms of the
enjoyable show. So yeah, something like Monster Hunter. Obviously, there was that new Dynasty Warriors trailer. Really excited about that. So yeah, I had a perfectly good time watching it.
I mean, the most
what?
interesting part was the Concord bit at the beginning.
That
'Cause
was weird.
That was very, very interesting because they so first of all, obviously, there's been all the jokes and the whole thing about it being like, Guardians of the Galaxy,
Oh,
like,
that
rip off that
opening
kind of
was
stuff. Yeah,
I mean, it couldn't be
insane.
more
yeah,
Guardians of
it
the
was
Galaxy.
it was totally that, but that's fine, and I quite enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed the opening, like, cinematic
I thought that
they
vignette
showed.
was really nice
Thought it
to
was totally
watch
fine.
and is interesting. Yeah.
But then it was really strange how they then shifted to showing the game, and you're like, oh, that's a tonal shift, like,
Yeah.
between the two, and
Yeah, I agree.
it didn't look that great. Like, visually, it didn't look that great. I mean, I'm sure, as a shooter or whatever, it'll be fine. But after watching those visuals in that vignette, it was like really jarring, like, to go between the two. I felt, but
Yeah, it was kind of whiplash. But I didn't watch this live, but I talked to Dave over the weekend, and he's like, yeah, it's kind of like Overwatch, and I saw lots of people say it's Overwatch and whatnot. But actually, when I watched the footage, it feels way more Destiny than Overwatch. Like, you can tell, I think, that Bungie have probably been helping other studios, this is Fire Sprite. Like, some of the guns and like just the way the cameras work, some of the abilities felt very much like kind of, the abilities you have in Destiny. It felt way more Destiny than Overwatch to me. And yeah, it was very different in terms of tone.
I see what you're saying. I'm watching some gameplay footage now. I sort of see what you're saying, but
yeah, I think
that goes out the window when you look at what they're actually doing. I mean, when you're looking for a very base level, oh yeah, the gun. There's someone using a pistol while throwing a throwing knife, for example. But then there are also a lot of the abilities they're showing are very Overwatch. This whole setup with them all dropping down at once as a team, very Overwatch, and just actually the gameplay elements is way more Overwatch.
Yeah, I don't know. I just saw like when you have like the arc abilities or abilities in Destiny, it felt the same when they were doing them. Like even like looking through down the scope, it felt and sounded like a Destiny. Yeah, it's like that actually got me more excited than just it's another Overwatch. I do think it looked the fact they went from really highly professional CG Guardians of the Galaxy, almost movie-like kind of visuals to this is like, okay. But, and also the fact they're doing one in a week.
Big difference, but it's more the tone for me. It was more this looks like a really fun single-player adventure game. Oh, no, it's not. It's a hero shooter.
But then Overwatch did a similar thing, right? Because Overwatch had lots of like little cinematic trailers and stuff. Yeah, but again, you would play Overwatch and be like, yeah, it's the guys from the video, and it's the same voices, and that the characters really came through even in the gameplay, right?
But that's the problem, because this was so close to like Guardians of the Galaxy, and because we had that really good Guardians of the Galaxy game that came out, I can see where you go, like in your mind of like, oh, this looks like a single player like adventure of some description, which looks interesting. But yeah, it was not.
And it is a shame because I was saying on WhatsApp, like, everyone's got it in for Concord now, and it may literally not matter if it's any good or not. Because of this, this is the way live service games are. If people just sort of turn against a game for no particular reason, and it doesn't get the support it needs, like, that can be it, and that will be a shame, right? If it just turns out this is like a fumble in marketing terms, but actually a good game, that'll be really sad.
I mean, I think it looked good. I mean, I'm interested in the fact that they're doing one of them per week, like one in. I think they said this is an extended one, and they're doing like maybe a reduced one, but they're doing one in. Narrative videos a week, which is or they'll be publishing one a week, obviously. But then that I was much more interested in that than I was that Marvel Rivals. That did feel really kind of that felt really okay. Like, Jesus, since in a minute of them, I just felt more interested in what Concord was doing. But
it's funny because like there's nothing to stop me playing Overwatch 2 right now, and I'm seeing these and thinking like, that's just an Overwatch ripoff, and then I'm like. Yeah, and if I wanted to play one of those, I could just play Overwatch, and I'm not playing Overwatch. Do you know what I mean? It's like that's there for me to choose to play whatever, and I don't know.
Can we, while we're going through this, can we talk about the current state of video game titles in this?
What do you mean?
It's current. I mean, right, Infinite Nikki. You go, okay, I can see. I'm just looking at a list of the names. Okay, I can kind of see maybe that's unique enough to sort of stick. Okay, all right. Ballad of Antara. I'm starting to. I'm
Yeah, which
starting
looks
to
very Elden Ring, looks very Dark Souls.
Yeah, there was another one. What was it? Where Winds Meet.
Yeah.
It's like
Another one
You take the
that's
fucking piss. Path of Exile 2. Okay, all right. Like they're not great.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
that game
even-
was kind of hamstrung because the first one was called Path of Exile, so they're kind
Yeah,
of
well, obviously, but I'm just talking about current like titles for video games. There
Well, I'll
is-
tell you why,
the-
David. It's very hard to get a domain
this is- yeah, this is
and
it.
social accounts.
Wasn't the new Dynasty Warriors? Was that Dynasty Warriors
Origins?
Yeah.
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 Which is hilarious, given that there's been a million Dynasty Warriors games, and every
Yeah.
single one has been set in the same time period, telling the same
Yeah.
story. So,
Well, maybe this is a week before. Where Winds Meet looked pretty good, but it also I was kind of worried because it looked like it could be a Souls clone.
Oh,
I don't know
massively
if much
like a.
information's come
There's
out
a-
afterwards,
yeah.
but
There's a lot of those around. It seems at the moment.
yeah,
these
but
Souls
it does.
games.
It did look beautiful. It was doing some really nice visual stuff
Mhm.
in that trailer, so it's sort of one to keep an eye on for
Yeah, I
sure.
mean, it did definitely more Sekiro than Elden Ring, whereas I think the other one,
Yes.
Ballad of Antara, felt very Elden Ring, very Dark Souls.
I'm not.
if-
I'm not into Monster Hunter, but I thought the trailer was fucking fantastic. I thought the monsters looked brilliant, and you know, my mates are probably going to play it, so I might just give it a go. But of course, the star of all of this was
Before we
our-
get to that, sorry, Infinity Nikki.
Okay.
I know from
Yeah,
World
that's-
Dress Up Adventure. I mean, this isn't the first Infinity Nikki game, or isn't the first thing about this, but yeah, that just looks wild, frankly.
It looked
like,
terrible. It looked
It
terrible.
looked dreadful.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Well,
probably
hang
not
on,
for
it's-
me,
it's
but like
not for us, is
Exactly.
it?
We're
an
not the
open
audience.
world,
No,
Like, you know.
dress up
Yeah.
adventure. That's going to open loads of doors to people who might think, why am I playing on this? You know, all these like Dark Souls or Elden Ring games. Like that looks like a massive breath of fresh air. It's not for me, but
There's loads of
it looked
breaths
great
of
as
fresh
well.
air
I mean, like
that
look
nowadays.
visually, it looked really interesting. I think.
It's
Go on, Matt. Go on, James.
no, it's
There's loads of them.
bullshit.
Just Google it
there's
in an
loads of
incognito tab.
you can't say it's just like, oh, there's so many Souls games. It's all dark stuff now. There's nothing different. There's tons of games that are doing things that are different
He's
nowadays.
You've got
It's
one.
like anyway, yeah.
No,
Astro
you're
Bot.
right. You are right.
Astro Bot.
So, what, are you anti Infinity Nikki or pro Infinity Nikki, James?
I'm pretty anti, Matt, because I wish they were showing something different in that in that showcase that appeals to me personally. And those that game.
James just like, it's not a Souls like.
Yeah.
Forget it.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Okay, so then they finally announced Astro Bot. Matt must love that title because he loves it when they just call it the thing. He wants
Yeah.
the next Sonic the Hedgehog game to be called Sonic.
Well,
The
I
next
was
Mario
for
game's to be
Destiny,
called
but
Mario.
Destiny
They
was
tried
different.
that in 2006. It didn't work well. It was, yeah.
And we're finally getting a full Astro Bot game, which, having watched the trailer a few times afterwards with the kids and stuff, I'm very happy about. It's going to be brilliant. I'm almost certain it's going to be brilliant. There was part of me that was a little bit underwhelmed with how similar it all looked. I'm not going to lie. When I watched the trailer, there was a lot. Oh, these are the sort of mini game areas. We've seen a lot of these bosses before.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of these enemies before, and we've seen a lot of these environments before. I'm a little bit disappointed by that.
When I saw the bosses, I was like, hey, we've played against those exact same bosses. So are they also like including kind of the old games, but not VR? Like, I was like, they were so
I've
similar.
got a
I was like, what are they
feeling
doing
that they probably thought when putting this together, not many people played the VR one.
Yeah,
So
that's definitely true.
let's
Yeah.
use that to our
Yeah.
advantage here.
But they've also said it's got like 80 plus like levels or whatever. Like
Hey,
this is
levels,
only
I think 6 worlds and
yeah, this is
Yeah.
only like a
Look,
tiny cross section or whatever.
I am almost certain this game's going to be amazing. That studio puts together some of the most original stuff I've played in games in years. The quality of their games are always really high. You know, they always feel really fun to play. They look great. They're really good fun.
really creative.
Yeah, really creative, non-stop creativity in their games. So look, I'm buzzing for it. There was just part of me that was a bit, oh, this seems very familiar. I hope that they're hiding the best stuff away, which would be the first time the marketing department has ever done that. To be fair, but But no, I'm digging it. We've wanted an Astrobot game for years and years and years, and I'm glad we're finally getting one.
Yeah, definitely, because I mean, obviously, we've sung the praise of the VR one. You know, got Game of the Year for us, and we loved the PS5 demo.
It shouldn't
but-
have, but it was very good.
Yeah, no. If anything, now, Dave, we'll be ahead of the curve when pool players was like, "Oh, I wish someone else was talking about Astrobot back in
Yeah.
2018." Well, we
Yeah,
were.
I wish other outlets gave it Game of the Year. What else come out that year? Red Dead Redemption. Okay, forget it then. Forget
Nothing.
it.
So we've seen equality and their creativity, and as you said, we wanted like more people to see the kind of quality that they've got. So I'm really pumped
And
for
we've
this.
only got to wait a few months.
Yeah, September
the
6th.
best
That's
thing.
nothing.
Yeah,
Because
that's
what I'm
the
worried
best thing.
about is
You ain't got
like
PS5.
obviously.
Or if it's bad and we're looking about it looks silly.
Yeah.
Well, no, if it's bad, then I don't
These
have to
guys
buy
are
a
shite.
PS5. No, what I'm worried about is if I get a PS5 for this, I need to play. What's the free one called? Is it Astra's Playroom?
Playroom, yeah.
That's Playroom, yeah. That's going to look quite tame compared to this.
No,
Right.
it won't.
Do you
No,
think?
it's still great.
No.
I mean, it's
Okay.
funny. I watched the trailer this with Asher. Like, he watched it a couple of times, and then he started playing that again.
That's what we did.
Okay.
That's what we did. Delete the save,
Yeah.
started playing it again.
Fair
the-
dues.
The first one, or the one that's packed in with the PS5, it's short as well, so it won't
Okay.
spoil the new one.
All right, fine.
But what you and oh god,
Yeah, I'm
You
just going to go
and
nuts.
Isaac sitting and playing that together,
Mhm.
collecting all the collecting all the bits of PlayStation and collecting the coins and using the fruit machine.
Oh god, yeah, it's got a gumball. Yeah, that Isaac will love that. He's an
Good.
addict.
It's so good, Sean. It's so good, and you know that's why I know that. Although I was looking at that trailer after the stream and thinking, actually, there doesn't appear to be that much new here. I just know that it's not just the game that you're seeing, right? There will be a hub world with loads to do, and yeah.
Yeah, and you always saw like loads of like Sony characters. You know, you saw Kratos, you saw Aloy, and some others.
It's tough
So
though because you can't do that again. You can't do what they did in that game because they nailed it in that one. Like in Playroom, they nailed it. All the PlayStation nostalgia stuff, and it
But they
was
are
in
gonna do that.
context. No, they're not, are they?
well, yeah, I mean, we've seen Nathan Drake, we've seen Aloy, we've seen like a lot of characters.
but you're not
Yeah.
going to be collecting like every piece of PlayStation.
No, you
merchandise
pointed out
again.
we were
That
doing
would
that,
be
but like the
insane
ship
to
at the
do
end
that.
is the PS5, so there's gonna be
Oh
tons
yeah,
of
there'll be
nostalgia.
references, but they won't have that sort of museum of like because that's the whole point like of it being a packing game, right? It was a celebration of PlayStation as well as an Astrobot game. Whereas this, I think it won't lean as heavily on the PlayStation stuff. Although by the looks of it, it's clearly going to be in there. I just know it's going to be great. Sean, like you wouldn't just be buying a PS5 for this. It'd be obviously Spider-Man, Ragnarok.
Yeah.
You know, all that sort of stuff. When I saw the price of what they were going for in the past like couple of weeks as well, I was thinking, man, you could do a lot worse. You could do a lot worse.
I'm thinking about it.
But surely,
That's what
would you get the
it's all
Pro
about.
at that point?
No.
It doesn't exist. It's fine.
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
come
good
out.
point.
A,
You don't
it
have
doesn't
to think
exist.
about it.
B, we all got stung by the PS4 Pro. We all got stung by it.
Mhm.
I still think that was a stupid decision buying that bloody thing.
Same.
Yeah, I'll want one for GTA
You know,
6 to look
I
as good
rem-
as it can possibly look.
I remember buying the PS4 Pro just hoping that it'd be quieter than the PS4 that I had.
Yeah, that was my
And
main
then-
thing that I wanted. Yeah.
And then you find, yeah, it really wasn't. It was like a jet engine after a couple of weeks.
I'll
It
say
was,
this. I don't know if you guys noticed it, and I haven't opened anything up yet. But my PS5 is way quieter than my Xbox Series X at the moment.
Really?
My Xbox Series X is quite noisy now. Yeah.
Yeah, mine's quite noisy actually.
I need to open it up. and
Well, mine's
figure it out,
quiet, so
basically.
you must have done something wrong.
Yeah, well, I haven't looked after it. Is the answer to that? I need to open that bad boy up and clean the fan. I think. Anyway,
Silent Hill 2, no one seems to have a good word about that, do they?
No.
no,
didn't look good, did it?
no, not particularly.
They once
Forgot they even
again
showed that.
showed off like loads of combat again, which is the one thing they got criticized for last time, and they just keep doing it. Yeah, it doesn't feel great.
I mean, I haven't played the original, but I can tell it doesn't seem to really have the same vibe or atmosphere of the ones that I
Yeah.
saw.
I mean,
It's
we've said
Bloober
before,
Team.
it's Bloober Team, right?
Yeah.
But the worst thing about their games is the writing. They don't have to write this one. The writing's already done for them.
Yeah.
And yet they still seems off. So yeah.
I played quite a few of their games that were like sort of horror games, and they never nailed the atmosphere either. So that's the biggest fear with Silent Hill 2, because that's what that was all about, and that's a shame.
Path of Exile 2, I'm maybe getting confused with another one, but like that seems very Diablo. There's no, I wasn't sure if that was one of the titles. After I played Disco Elysium, they're like, oh, if you like that, maybe we should try these kind of things. This isn't a CRPG, is it? This is like a standard Diablo.
This is Slash, I think. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. Until Dawn, James, sure you're not gonna bother playing that.
Absolutely not. I mean, that's also. I mean, as many people have said, it's the most pointless remake ever. Like it's at this stage, because it doesn't look much different to the original.
Like I say, the original still looks alright, doesn't it?
Yeah. And you just think, why does this exist? It's really strange. But it's a good game. It's definitely a good game. But you could probably pick up the PS4 version for like next to nothing. It's I
think it's on their thing, isn't it? Isn't it on their free
probably
PS Plus? Yeah. Good game though.
Just before we move on, James, there's 2 PSVR 2 titles. Assume you'll be getting back.
There's one of them was the Alien one, which I've already mentioned.
Trying to crowbar VR chat into the show. I wonder why.
Just saying, it's a good time for that stuff, isn't it?
I wonder what the reason behind it.
I'm just saying VR's always been great, and
we have already mentioned them though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So trying to crowbar them back into the conversation.
But the
influence people.
The next story, though, is also VR, because Sony have announced this PS VR2 PC adapter that's coming out in August for about 50 quid or so, and it will connect via.
How much?
It's like
$60.
It's like $60, so I'm assuming about 50 quid or whatever.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it is.
What is wrong with them?
I'll tell you what's wrong with them, Sean.
Yeah.
This PS5 generation has been the most profitable console to date.
Fucking hell. The dramatic pause.
Sorry,
there.
I just had to scroll up to my.
I tell you what's wrong with them.
I'll tell you what's wrong with them in about 10 minutes.
I had to scroll up. I couldn't find it. It didn't come back. But anyway, so it connects via USB-C, and apparently it's going to work with Steam VR games. So things like Half-Life Alyx and stuff, you'll be able to play on it. But it's got some drawbacks. I mean, chief amongst them is that a lot of the things which are pretty cool about the PSVR 2 headset won't work, such as like HDR, headset feedback, eye tracking, adaptive triggers, and all this sort of stuff. And presumably there will be some games that may support it if they've been programmed for that, is what I'd imagine is.
Well, this is what's interesting, isn't it? Because we were talking on WhatsApp about like the DualSense controller, and we were saying like there are some games on PC that will use the DualSense stuff, but then I suppose Sony were never saying like you should buy a DualSense controller for your PC. It's just a thing that happens to work. Whereas this is like they're having to sell this special cable for you to do this. So in a way that makes it dangerous for them to be like, and some games might support these extra features, right? It's easier for them to say no, it's not going to work.
Yeah,
I mean, think about it.
I still think this is a good move. And especially if they do cut the price at some point, then it
probably makes people less angry that own one. Do you know what I mean? But that's about it. I mean, look, let's face it. This cable is too expensive.
That is ludicrous.
It also, in my head, gives Sony that sort of thought of, it works on the PC. We don't need to worry about it anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like that's kind of.
I mean, yeah, like I say, it's good news because anything that enables devices to work with each other and potentially create more use for them is always going to be a good thing. But when you consider that for the same price, you can have a Quest 3 that works standalone and will work wirelessly with your computer if you have one. That to me immediately seems like a better deal. Obviously, I know presumably the visuals on, or the literal panels on the PSVR 2 are probably better. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
But you're missing out on so many of those other features that make the PSVR 2 worth having. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, on hardware alone, I think the PSVR 2 is the best headset in terms of comfort. The panels, a lot of the controls are great. All the haptics, but as you just said, none of them are actually available. So you kind of say, well, it's great because of that. And obviously the library is very lacking. But yeah.
While we're talking about VR, am I allowed to talk about the potential new hardware? Or is that
if it's the one I think you're talking about, then I think it's been widely leaked at this point, right? The
What is
3S
it?
or whatever.
The Quest 3S.
Or the
Yeah.
Quest 3 Lite
So,
or whatever.
Oh,
Yes,
is
Yeah,
the-
yesterday or over the weekend, there was a leak like on one. There's a game on the store, and it said compatible with
that's
Quest 2,
right.
Quest
yeah,
3,
yeah,
Quest 3S. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's funny.
So this is
So
the
the
cheaper
Quest
Quest,
3S
yeah?
is apparently it's a Quest 3 with some things taken out to make
Well,
it
it's
cheaper. Is that right?
what I kept seeing was that it's the innards of the Quest 3, but with like the shell and the panels of the Quest 2, more or less.
Right. If that comes out at the right price point, I'm buying it. Day
Yeah,
one.
man.
Like we were talking about at the weekend, we miss playing PokerStars VR, and one of my mates that played PokerStars a lot, he's not played Walkabout Mini Golf, and we were like, you will
mate.
adore Walkabout Mini Golf,
Yeah.
and we're like, mate, if that comes out at the right price, then forget about it. That's the more important hardware release for me. None of this PSVR. Oh, I'd love to know how many they sold of those bloody headsets.
Probably not many, I think is the thing. I mean, they sold 600,000 when it first came out, but then have said nothing about it at all since then. So, yeah.
What if they then release and said we've sold 600,007 now? So
yeah, I guess you assume they didn't get to the million milestone because they would have said that, or maybe they wouldn't say that if they're then gonna just kind of not do much of it. So clearly, it hasn't done great.
It has been not very strange. It's because I mean, Sony seem to do this quite a lot. Release hardware.
But this has been the strangest, I think. Like,
I don't know, a portable device that only works within 5 meters of your console.
but
that's kind of the Portal's like 100% like take it or leave it. Some people find it really useful. It doesn't need support, right?
no,
Whereas
you're
the
right,
PSVR 2 does, and they just haven't.
Yeah.
bothered.
It was funny because I took the Portal down with me this weekend, and people were using it and going, "Oh my god, this is like really fucking good." And I spent my whole time, when usually you're showing someone a new gadget and you're like, and it does this and it's amazing and it's perfect. So I was spending the whole time going, but seriously, don't buy one unless you are absolutely sure, because it's insane to own one of these things.
It's you have to always say, don't buy one unless you can wire your PS5 to the.
That's exactly what I said. Exactly,
because otherwise, forget it. It's
But Matt, can you see what I mean about the screen now?
yeah, the screen is fantastic, and just
It's
like
mad, isn't
general
it?
kind of latency. We were playing like miles, many miles away from your house. It was brilliant. Yeah, I was really impressed. Like, hardware felt great. It was bigger than I thought. It was massive.
It is
actually,
big,
that thing.
but it is brilliant. It's so good. I still really like mine, but yeah.
Right.
True. Next story, because
let's move on.
So Lars, is it Lars Wingefors? That's the guy's name, right? From
what?
Embracer. So
I don't think we need to worry about disrespecting
Embracer.
him. He's an embracer, man. It's fine.
So he's
Embracer?
from yeah. So he's been talking about the brutal truth of the AAA market, and he's had some thoughts. So first of all, he talked about how unpredictable game sales can be, where he said Dead Island 2 was a big seller, whereas Alone in the Dark was a disappointment from their perspective. And he said, whatever you produce, if it isn't the absolute best in that genre or really hitting something unique to the players, it's very, very challenging. Consumers have a lot of things to spend their time and money on. I believe in Alone in the Dark was a quality product, and the developers want all in to deliver on that. It's very unfortunate to see that it didn't catch enough consumers out there willing to engage again in that IP and product. It's just a brutal truth. It was a big investment, and ultimately we need to get those things right. But then he started to talk about how the competition's very fierce because you're also competing with older games as well, and there's like rising prices. And so then he said, I think the industry is facing the same problem as all other industries with inflation and rising costs of game development, and it's been hard to increase pricing in premium PC and console games. The pricing of those products has been the same for many years, which means that the margin to succeed is less, and on top of that, there is a higher cost of capital. Ultimately, when you make big investments or games, you need to play with teams you are very confident in, or with IPs you own or control, and have the full financial income. On top of that, the consumers have more content than they've ever to choose from. They love to engage in established IPs they've been playing before, which means it's harder to have them trying out some new things or new IPs. It's just something we're all facing. It's a reality which we have been adapting to over the past past year and will continue to adapt to that reality. But then he went on to talk about the possibility of increasing prices, because this is where there's been headlines like saying like he's saying that they should increase them above $70. And this is where he said, I'm not saying you can't increase the price. But the reality is,
I'm saying I want to.
but he says, but the reality is, no one has tried it. If you create an enormous RPG, for example, with 100 or 150 hours of gameplay, very, very polished and a unique experience, would the consumer be willing to pay more? If they would have more products potentially coming to market, but no one's tried it. It's something we've been discussing, but we are currently sticking to the practices of the industry. Would it be that one company one day they try to increase pricing? That remains to be seen. And then he just went on to talk about how with single player games, maybe there needs to be a trade-off here of either we have to increase the costs of these games or just make them shorter, so that development times are shorter and so they don't have to put so much resources into them.
I mean, make them shorter. I know I'm saying that as someone that complains about how little time they've got and blah blah blah. But like, there is genuinely, I much prefer finishing a 6-hour game rather than quitting a 14-hour, 15-hour game.
Oh,
You know
definitely.
what I mean? And, I mean, six hours probably too short, right, for a £70 game. I do think there's some interesting questions in there, and the first thing that comes to mind: Grand Theft Auto comes out next year, £90. People still lap it up, don't they?
Yeah, people will
Definitely.
pay that. Yeah, definitely.
But it would have to be a game like that, right?
Yeah, it would have to be a Grand Theft Auto, and how many more Grand
Like,
Theft Autos are there out there?
When like the
There's
Xbox
none.
One was announced and everyone hated the digital first stuff, and people were like, yeah, but people use Steam. Steam is huge. It's like, yes, Steam was only able to work because you needed it to play Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
Right. If it wasn't for that, everyone would have rejected it.
I think there's very few games that could do that. Like, I mean, probably
Agree.
maybe Call of Duty, maybe that could have done it in the past.
I think with Call of Duty that you're, I'm pretty sure the same would happen with Grand Theft Auto. But I think with Call of Duty, your pool of people that buy that game will go down quite significantly. And I think
because so many people
because
just
there's
buy
a
it
Call of Duty
casually
last
because
year.
it's Whereas people buy Grand Theft Auto being like, this is going to be my fucking life for at least the next month.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
and
Like,
we
it's
know
been
they
such a
support it for a
huge
long
wave.
time. There's all this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
admittedly, maybe that support is now actually going into more the online versus. I don't know what that £90 will get you, but yeah.
The stuff about Alone in the Dark, I mean, he can say as much as he wants that he's confident that it was good, but the critics disagreed. So, like, and the stuff you're saying about games have been incredibly, like, AAA games have been very hit driven since like the PS2 days, where like you were already, even in those days, you were seeing like one big success would pay for 5 flops or whatever,
Yeah.
So that's not new. It's probably worse than it was back then, I can imagine. But yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Next story is that Take-Two is reportedly planning to close or sell its indie label, which is Private Division. And this
Who
is
saw this coming?
Yeah, I mean, this is in addition to closing like Intercept Games and Roll7, because apparently that is happening now. Because
But they said they didn't,
But is it
James.
happening?
They did
Yeah,
promise
they
us.
did say they didn't, mate. They didn't shutter them.
Yeah,
just
and I've
must
one
have got it
belief.
wrong.
Shut us down for a bit.
yeah, but apparently what's happened is that at the end of April, employees at Private Division were told that it was not going to be supported, and the staff were laid off. And then there was a small team that remains that are there to continue supporting games that are still coming out. But then maybe after that'll be it.
So so they must be honouring like existing like publishing
Yeah.
agreements and stuff. But
'Cause
then
they've got-
how shit is it going to be for those games being published, knowing that their publishers being gutted and like the marketing support and stuff might not be there in a way that it would have been.
Yeah.
God,
But yeah,
Shite.
it's terrible. But
really grim.
final news story.
But a happy news story now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
got
a little
some
funny one at the
hamster
end
going
to
water skating.
lift our spirit. Yeah.
I mean, this will definitely get your spirits up because Geoff Keighley wants you to lower your expectations for Summer Games Fest. So he's come out again
How many
and said...
how many years in a row has he done this now?
I mean,
Most.
he
Well,
definitely
I
did it
think-
last year.
Definitely
I
did it
think
last
Geoff
year.
Keighley has to lower his expectations of what we think Game Fest is going to be. Do you know what I mean? We're not sitting here buzzing, waiting for Games Fest, mate. I don't know why he does this every year.
I mean, I know why he's doing it, but Yeah, I think
Not
last year we
good
said,
luck,
well,
is
it's
it?
been a tough year, in between cycles, blah, blah, blah. That happened the year before,
He's
admittedly.
also doing it because he's getting headlines out of it every
Yeah.
year. He says this shit every year, and it's plastered everywhere.
Well,
So-
anything he says generally will get headlines, but and this is pretty negative,
Including,
right?
look at this trailer I edited. You see
Oh
that?
yeah, the hype trailer. Yeah, I love that.
That was weird.
I just. Do you know what I don't like about this? Just
Geoff Keighley.
organise the weekend, Jeff. Organise
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
weekend.
Yep.
And work around the games. Don't make it the Geoff Keighley show. Like it's such
Yeah,
a
late for that.
difference.
Yeah.
No, I know, but that's just hey, don't expect. Shut up. Honestly, I know you like him, Matt, but I can't. It just really gets up my nose.
Oh man,
Plus, isn't it just a really shit thing to say about all the people you've brought in to
Yes.
actually?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Say it's your big release on Summer Games Fest, and you're
Yeah.
seeing him going, it's gonna be shit, guys.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Mhm.
Don't get too
Yeah,
excited.
what's the actual quote? Because it says here about his updates to games. Oh, but he also said there'll definitely be new announcements. But yeah, it is a
Well,
piss take then.
Of course, there's going to be new announcements. He's not going to do a whole show with nothing.
I mean,
It's
that
It
would
says
be
it's
funny.
focused on. I'm like, well, how many are we get? If it's focused on updates to existing games, then
Well,
Well, do we
That-
think is there going to be a musical number? There's got to be, right? That's become
Oh
a
yeah,
staple.
well, I know why you're thinking that as well because I'm looking at the photo they've used on the link, the Kotaku link, and he's holding the microphone in one hand and the microphone stand in the other, like he's about to belt out
Oh, is he?
New York. Yeah,
I mean, I'd
Yeah.
fucking love that
that would be good,
if
wouldn't
they
it?
did that.
you'd be there, would you?
sure.
He didn't manage your
yeah.
expectations with that, did he?
No.
To manage your expectations, I will be singing 4 songs from the Michael Bublé album.
Sean, I've got another thing
Yeah.
to add to the bingo thing.
Oh yeah.
Kojima on stage. Like, there's got to be Kojima involved
Yep.
in
There's
that
no
Xbox
stage, is there?
One.
There's no stage at the Xbox One.
There'll be something.
Well,
Yeah.
what do you
Yeah,
mean?
'cause
Do
he's
you mean,
got that
do you mean
OD game. I think
do
that's a
you mean
good
the
shout.
Xbox One or this? Summer
I mean
Games
the
Fest?
Xbox One. It'll be at
Okay.
the Xbox One. Yeah.
Why would
Oh,
Kojima
right,
be
and
at the
then
Xbox
Keighley.
One?
Says he's
showed
got OD,
afterwards
he's
to
got
get
the exclusive
it'll be
games, isn't he?
feuding.
Oh, that's yeah. Sorry, yeah.
OD or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They'll want him on there to show that they're in touch with real gamers
Yeah,
and
true.
and that
And
they
then
care
they'll
about
cut back to Keighley, and Keighley goes, he said he was busy this weekend, so
Yeah, he said he couldn't make it.
it's
So,
like
yeah,
crying.
just something
His
else on.
eyes are all puffy red.
Just been cutting onions. Sorry.
Yeah, I
okay,
wonder when. I wonder what we should have a sweepstake about when he's not going to say this. What year it's going to be? I reckon 2029.
First
That'd be
year
the
where he's
first
like,
year.
no, this is it. Do not calibrate your expectations. Let them run fucking wild. This is it.
Okay,
and that's
Is
the
that
end
it
of the
for
news. That is it. Yeah.
Look out for our talk server on Friday night.
We will make our own fun. We always do.
Yeah, so raise those expectations back.
Dave
up,
and I
'cause we are-
convinced ourselves that state of play was good. That's how much we enjoyed each other's company.
I'm not
So-
letting them bring me down. I enjoyed it. Don't listen
Yeah.
to James. James is
Shocking.
Right.
Do you call it shocking, James?
Yeah, I thought it was
We did.
bad. Yeah.
Should we start what you've been playing with Matt Murray this week? Because he has been playing a game that he's threatened to talk about for about 3 weeks, haven't you, Matt?
Yeah. Well, I started it 3 weeks ago, certainly, and that's I keep saying it the wrong way, but it's Lorelei and the laser eyes, I believe. In my head, it was Lorelei and the laser eyes. This is a Simogo game.
Lorelei.
Simogo, I think is what they're
Lorelei.
called, right? They
Yes.
made Year Walk and they did Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Year Walk. I remember. Yeah, I haven't thought about Year Walk in ages.
That was
Year
that
Walk was a
mobile game,
big sort of watershed title for like iPad
Yeah.
gaming.
It was, but it
Um,
was also I hated it on some level, and I can't remember why. There was something.
It's well,
about
it made
that I
me
just thought, oh.
sad because I'd enjoyed Simogo stuff up to then, and it was mostly sort of quite twee, sort of puzzle action stuff. And then they made Yearwalk, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's spooky as fuck." And I was like, "Oh well, that's
Yeah, it was
probably,
creepy.
probably me out then."
Yeah.
But yeah, so they also did Device 6, which I never really played, but I gather was brilliant. And yeah, so more recently, Sayonara Wild Hearts, which for them was a departure because it was kind of a sort of musical action game, but still very, very enjoyable. Sorry,
Yeah, I didn't
Matt,
like
I'm
that game,
stealing
but
you.
they've got some credence. This
Yes.
studio.
Pedigree.
Yeah. Also, it's Annapurna, so never put
It's
a
gotta
bad
be good.
game out. Yeah, this is I guess I call it like a
12 minutes.
spooky psychological puzzle game, really. That's mostly black and
Spooky.
white. Spooky. Not scary, but
spooky.
spooky, unless it does
Yeah.
get scary. I will say I'm only kind of like, I think I'm like 5 or 6 hours in.
Okay, fair enough.
Not
Spooky.
that far.
Because I keep putting off talking about this. I've played about an hour, maybe. The problem I keep having is because I've heard so many people being like, "You've got to make notes the whole time. It's
Yeah.
gonna blow your fucking mind."
Yeah,
and every
so
time I
I
load it
hate
up, I'm
that
like,
shit, but
I'm
then-
That
quite
puts me off
tired.
immediately. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does put me off immediately, but I'm still playing Animal Walk and that sort of shit.
Animal
is
Well?
right
Well,
in
well.
there. Animal Well.
Animal Well.
Walk.
yeah. Well,
I just go on a lovely little animal walk.
so I keep loading it up and being like, "God, this is probably really good," but there's so much stuff to read and look at. And I'm just like, well, fuck, what's relevant? What's just flavor text and what's going to turn out to be a clue? Do I need to be writing it? And I'm worrying too much about that stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping you're going to tell me to chill out and just shut up and play it.
Yeah, so the game itself, as Benjamin said in the chat, it does tell you to use a notepad. I do share your concerns there, Sean, about is everything a clue? Because you see and read tons of things and everything feels like it could be a clue. And so I've not had an iPad. I've just been writing down on my phone or taking a million pictures on my phone. I've basically got an album saved on my phone now with like at least 70 pictures I've taken of stuff in game. But I kind of do wish I had a notepad where I can actually do little drawings of things because I think that's a key aspect. So maybe the best aspect, maybe just get an iPad, maybe like a 1,500 quid iPad with an Apple Pencil. That's probably the ultimate
Could
way
just
to
get
play this.
some paper
What?
and a pen.
Nah,
Get a moleskin one, get a nice one.
Then.
Treat yourself, little field notes. But-
So yeah, you start this game.
I'm still a paper and a pen guy, Sean.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
When
do
I'm in
that.
meeting, I've got a lovely little notebook. And I
Yeah.
write in that. What about that?
I've never had a pen or notepad. Oh no, that's not true because we gave.
You've
them to
never
everyone,
had
but-
a pen.
No, I mean, on my current
Why
job.
do you
In
talk
fact,
such
no,
shit?
I just don't use pen and paper. I haven't used it for years.
Oh, I'm
at
writing
work.
that down for the episode title.
Yeah, I've never had a pen.
I was about to say in my current
off,
job,
Matt.
which is also silly because we give them to. For
Well, you work.
new
Everyone's
packs.
got computers in your job. You don't need pens.
Yeah, fuck pens. Anyway, this game, it's a puzzle game. You start off and you basically know nothing about it. It's black and white except for some very nice little hints of red neon. But yeah, like there's no real introduction. But you're a woman, and you don't know what year it is. You see I think you get a letter, or you see a letter about going to a big house, a big hotel, and you're trying to work out what this mystery is. Now I'm only getting 5 hours, and I'm still trying to work out what the mystery is. But essentially, you're in this hotel and like loads of the doors are locked, but there'll be like codes, or there'll be weird paintings, or you'll find a manual which tells you about Roman numerals or the Greek alphabet, or you'll find like a puzzle book that has just like 20 random kind of logic or shape puzzles, and it's your job to try and work out how these things correlate, and how you kind of unlock certain doors or shortcuts around this entire building. There are like there's a little bit of narrative, a little bit of story here and there. Like the one of the first things you do is you're in this kind of courtyard going into the hotel, and you see a man on CCTV, and you need to work out where that man is, and then a bit of narrative opens up. But essentially, the game explains nothing, and it's up to you to piece together what the story is through letters, through puzzles, through books, through notes, and you're writing down, as Sean mentioned, everything on the off chance that it might link to a puzzle. And I'm really mesmerized by the world. The fact it tells you nothing, it's really, really compelling. Now, I said spooky. It's not scary, but there's definitely an air of kind of, yeah, there's an air of something not quite right in this house. I'm not sure.
There's like red footprints all over the shop, and you kind of like, is this going to turn out this is paint, but it wants me to think it's blood. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't gone
That
to.
is spooky though, Sean. That is, I'll be honest.
It is.
It is spooky.
If I see
Yes.
blood on the floor, I think something bad has gone on.
Yeah, yeah, but there is loads of that red stuff, and I'm like, oh, well, what's going to happen here? But no, it
Have
had.
you thought about being a detective, Sean? Do you ever thought of going down the career of a
I
detective?
do think I'd be good at it, actually.
I'll be. You'd be fucking good at it, I reckon.
Yeah, I can just.
You'd have
So
your
just what do you
notepad.
do? Just turn up and ask.
Yeah, you go.
We'll go,
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
That's what-
just go. Here's
no.
your trench coat and a magnifying glass off your top.
Yeah, and then you walk along like that, looking at the
Yeah,
floor
yeah.
for the next hour.
Yeah.
Go on. Sorry.
So
Matt,
yeah,
sorry, sorry, Matt.
there's tons of puzzles in this, and I saw some people saying it gets really, really incredibly hard. I haven't looked at a guide yet. There's one I'm kind of tempted to, but I don't want to because I feel like once I look at a guide once, it's game over for this.
Yeah, once
But
you
what-
broke the seal, it's.
But what I have
yeah.
found is that there's often so many things to see and do in the various shortcuts you've unlocked for this hotel, or just the puzzles you've got, because it also everything you kind of see or pick up, it saves it in this UI, which is really bad. I'll come to the UI in a minute. Also, it adds everything to like a to-do list, so there's always tons to do. So even if you are kind of maybe stuck on, oh, I don't know how to get through this door, there's like a clock with like a sundial on it. I haven't seen anything to even like link a solution to that, so I'll just leave that and I'll come back to that and I'll solve his other puzzles involving other doors, or posters that got rearranged. So there's always so much. I haven't got to a point yet where I've been actually stuck and I'm like, where do I go? And it always feels like there's a few options open to me. But yeah, everything you see and do is saved in this UI, which is black and white. And it's a whole tons of lists of like, okay, here's the posters you've seen. Here are kind of things related to movies or books or door things, but it's all in this black and white. Looks like an old computer kind of style UI. And one of my major issues with this is that this game does not have a back button.
Yeah,
Now-
what the fuck is that about?
I'm sure there is some stylistic reason for it, but you
what?
can be basically. The UI, when you're looking at all the things you've seen or collected, or you want to reference them and you want to look at them again, yeah, a big old list of things, and you'll move up and down. But all the stuff on the face button, it basically selects something, or but every face button basically selects something on the menu. There is no like a B to go back and up and eventually get out of the UI. So if you go all the way to the bottom, you got to go all the way to the top. And the first few times I was like, is this a joke? I'm getting used to it now, but I don't understand why. You can play this game with one hand, so I think maybe they're trying to minimize.
I was going to say so, yeah, because I'd heard that, basically the idea is you can play it one-handed so that you can be like constantly writing notes with your other hand. But I can manage two buttons with one hand. I would still like a back button, please.
Yeah,
I found that really frustrating.
Yeah, I have got used to it now, but it just means the menus are just more laborious, because before when I was like, why hasn't he got one? Now I'm just like, okay, up, okay, like, and then you hit the back arrow on, use it, and it's just anyway. I don't know why that's there. I don't think I truly understand the whole. Yeah, you can play it one-handed and take notes, I guess, but come on, there must be a better way
I
to
don't think
do
I'm clever enough to write and move a character around at the same time. I think I'm always going to stop to write something down and then go back to it. But I don't know. I was saying to Matt, I have ordered a calculator, Matt.
Oh yeah, you did in the end, okay?
Because there's some maths in it. I mean, from what I've played, very basic
maths,
stuff.
yeah.
And there is a calculator in game, but again, it's you go pressing the start button, going into menu, right, go to the calculator, and then you're obviously using like a D-pad or a stick to like move around the buttons. It's just clunky as hell, not enjoyable at all. And I also get annoyed having to unlock my phone to use a calculator. Don't know, just bothers me. So for £6, I've ordered a cheeky little Casio that's arriving tomorrow.
Yeah,
because the idea is just having it to
use
hand.
my phone.
Yeah,
I use my phone calculator.
Any excuse, Sean?
Yeah, mate.
Any excuse?
Love a bit of Casio hardware.
So yeah, I've got loads of pictures on my phone.
Feed money into that. You'll be playing keyboard next week, the boy.
You didn't fancy, Sean? You didn't fancy the calculator watch? Like one of those.
Oh, that would have been no, because I assume it's quite fiddly to use.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of that.
It is. That is the end of that, isn't it?
Use your
Bloody
bloody
hell.
phone. Anyway. Yeah. So my phone is filled with what?
Little quip. Full stop. Silence.
Yeah, but away from the puzzles, it's got a really, just a really, really amazing vibe. It's so atmospheric. We're in this house, and you hear like sounds, and like there's a part where you go up to a room, or a couple of rooms where you hear like people mumbling or talking in it. That's most you're going to hear in terms of voice audio. It's all just sounds and some spooky music, and you hear like the creaks of this hotel, and the graphics are really, really simplistic at points, almost just like white lines. There's a lot of rooms and areas where it'll be very, very dark, but with some very, very slight reflection and then just lines. It's almost like, is it Ribbon, that game on the on the, it kind of reminded me of that in some aspects,
That was on
but
PlayStation,
also with a kind of a Resi 1 style fixed camera angles as you go into rooms.
It's funny, isn't it? We've talked about like when like an indie game gets ported to the Switch, we're like, oh man, that's not going to be good. But when an indie game launches on like Switch and PC, you're like, oh well, it's not going to look amazing then, is it? If they've targeted Switch from day one, but I know it does look good, to be clear. But I know what you mean. Like it's quite minimal.
I think it looks brilliant, even with its minimal graphics. So I'm playing on Switch, and even on my TV, I think it just I think it looks great in its simplicity. But I haven't got stuck yet majorly, and there's so much things open to you, like puzzle wise, and where the stories maybe go. That there's it always feels like something to do, and I'm really enjoying it so far. Apart from that UI issue. So you played about an hour, Sean.
Yeah, so I do really want to get into it. Just as I say, I feel like every time I load it up, I'm just like knackered. I'm not giving it the attention it deserves. I know that I'll find a flow with it because it does seem like exactly the sort of thing I would like.
Yeah, this is 100% a game you can't just put on if you're tired before bed. Like you can't go through this and not take notes. I mean, I first was like, do I really need to take notes? I'm like, maybe I can get away with not. Maybe that's just what people want to do if they really want to, really want to get involved. But no, it's clear very early on. Actually, I should probably remember that right down, because again, everything as I said is logged in the game UI, and you collect maps and you see icons of where certain things are, but you need to write notes down to say, well, actually this, that, and the other. And then there's some bits where you see loads of puzzles, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna like take pictures of what these are and work them out when I'm not playing the game. So I found this document which had like I think 20 puzzles in. I'm like, okay, well actually, so I took a picture of every single page, and then in my notes I was looking at them and was like, I think I can work out, because often they're like number puzzles, logic puzzles, or stuff involving the calculator. So I've been like, if I've had some spare time, I've been like, oh, I can do a couple of these just while I'm waiting for something, and then come back to the game later. I'm like, I know I've done 14 and 15 and 16. I can go to certain places now because I've done those puzzles. So they're really, really good. And this is the kind of game where it makes you feel like a genius for solving a puzzle, and a total idiot for not being able to solve a puzzle. Like within a minute later, basically. So really, really good so far. I mean, I thought it was gonna be like quite a short game, but I've heard people say if you want to get to 100% like truth, so there's like there's an in-game kind of percentage that calculates that works out how you're doing. You can finish a game without going to 100%, but if you want to get near the end, some people think it's like 20 or maybe slightly, more than 20 hours. I thought it was like a short little experience, but very, very good so far, and I'm excited to get back to it.
Cool. But we have played a better game this week, haven't we?
Damn straight. We played
the original, the OG game of the year. Went down to see some friends. Chet and John were there.
Yep.
Friends that we mentioned on the show before. Chrissy Dick and Jay and Matt Murray down there. That was fun, wasn't it?
Hello.
We had a lovely
It.
weekend. We watched Champions League final. It was a bit dull. And we all decided to bust out Trackmania Turbo again for the first time in ages. And Sean, I fully stand by that decision of making it Game of the Year. My word, what a game that is.
Yep.
Again, instantly, everyone was hooked and just absolutely obsessed with it. Everyone was into it, trying to beat each other's times, and it constantly getting down to your last attempt and somehow scraping through and getting another chance later on. Just the best. It's so good. It's still got that magic, and it kills me that there's not anything.
There's not been another like console focused one since, have they? I know there's the new Trackmania, full stop.
Right, what's the deal with that? What do you know about that, Sean?
Well, because Matt and I both played it on PC when it came out. and then and then it came to consoles, and then I think like it's free to play, so you can
It is
download
free
it
to
on.
play, yeah.
And then I remember loading it up, and it's like, oh, do you want to sign into your Ubisoft account? I was like, no, not really. He's like, well, you can't play the game then. I was like, right, well, I won't then. So
Yeah, so after the weekend of playing it, and it is absolutely incredible. It's still as good as it was like day one. Like before we left, I was like, well, let's just download that other one. And you have to log in with Ubisoft account, but you can get the base game for free. But if you want to do more than a certain number of tracks or certain tracks, you have to basically pay like the £18 like pack, whatever it is. And I don't mind doing that. But I will say one thing: the fact that this is so much more modern, it looks so much worse than like Trackmania Turbo that came out many years before it. Trackmania Turbo is still so quick, and I think it's a lovely looking game. And yeah, it's still as good as it was back then.
John looked at it and went, Ubisoft have ruined something else, haven't they? So I
don't know what's happened with like just Trackmania, but it is on Xbox. It is like cross-play. I'm tempted to maybe play a bit more to see what else is available on that Trackmania game. But Trackmania Turbo is still absolutely incredible. It's like such a laugh with all of us playing in the same room, swapping the pads, like trying to beat each other's times against the odds,
winding each other up.
It's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely, what a game.
Yeah, I fully stand by that. And if you have a bunch of friends who are coming over and they're even half interested in arcade racers, then just put this on. Honestly, you'll have a whale of a time trying to beat each other's scores and that. It's so bloody good. Trackmania Turbo is the one. I've got one quick mention of Hellblade 2. I booted it up again. It's back in the caves, and I was doing the stuff. Oh god, I was doing the stuff with the ghostly image and the. You know what I mean? You know that bit, James?
I do know that
the
bit,
ghostly image. I mean, you see a lot of weird ghostly images.
Yeah, but this is the one that you got to help out, where you pass in the torch about and that.
Oh yeah.
I was like, nah, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not. So I literally started it and just went, okay. James was saying, get to the next bit.
Yeah, the next bit.
That's still not when it gets good. It gets better.
I know. But I did this and I was like, I don't want to play this. So I turned it off and just put the PowerWash simulator on. And instantly I was like, I'm enjoying life again. I'm enjoying life. doing the Warhammer DLC, which has some of the worst PowerWash sim things that I've done. But now it's just given me a massive ship, like an insanely big ship that's going to take me forever to clean. And I'm like, I'm happy again now. It's not a stupid little robot with little bits that you have to really get into the crevices. Yeah. No, this is just a massive ship that will take me forever. And I'm about 80% through. And I was like, I never want to play Hellblade 2 again. Boring.
Shame, Dave. You should probably play it before Game of the Year, though.
I don't think there's any need.
I think my opinion is made up.
It's a shame. It's a very short one. Yeah, I know it's divisive, but I really enjoyed it. I was the only one.
And you are, because you've not played anything else this year. Sean, what have you got for us?
I've got all sorts of shite, Dave. It's been a funny old week.
I
went back to Sky: Children of the Light. Remember
Sky,
this one?
the Robin Bastards.
Remember this one?
Yeah.
This was that game company's game. I mean, it's been
Apple
around.
Arcade, wasn't it? Was that the one that started there? And it was like, why don't you release it on
I don't know
console?
if it was Apple Arcade, because it's always been like a free to play, like sort of kind of an MMO basically. And this is what I still wrestle with. It's come out on Steam recently. It was supposedly in beta for a while, but it was clearly fine. But now it's like officially out on Steam. So, and like, and obviously because it was originally built for mobile devices, runs beautifully on the deck. Like, looks amazing. Like, it still looks incredible, this game, right? I mean, like in terms of like textures or model detail, it's shown its age a bit. But just like the visual effects and some of the environments and stuff. Are
it just first released on iOS in 2019. Didn't come to like PS4 consoles to like 2020. Yeah. Well, Switch is 21, PS4 22. Yeah, I remember like, oh, this is great, but can we have it on a real console?
Yeah. So, and that's sort of where I was with it for a long time. And now that it's on Steam, I'm like, hey, I can play it on my actual PC and play on the deck, whatever. And I still cannot reconcile my feelings on it, because on the one hand, I play it and I'm like, this is a perfectly good time. It looks beautiful. It's very similar to Journey. And then I drift into, how the fuck did the people who made Journey go, oh, should we do that again, but make it like a mobile free-to-play MMO where you have to buy emotes and capes and there's like seasonal events?
But it was all the rage, wasn't it? Then that's what people were all into. It was all the
yeah. And I almost like, I can't believe they didn't get more of a backlash.
Yeah, that feels sad. It's like
Yeah.
you've gone the polar opposite.
Yeah.
Or you've tried to retain some aspects of what you made your games so good before, with like the worst aspects of modern gaming.
Yeah, it's so strange. But then, like, I was talking to some friends about it. I said, like, I can criticize it, but like, if Isaac turned around to me and he was like, I want to play, like, all my mates playing online games now, and he said, and then he was like, oh yeah, we really want to get into this game called Sky Children of the Light, I'd be like, oh, thank fuck.
Yeah, you like, get out of this house.
Yeah. I'd be like, oh, thank God for that, because it is beautiful and it's entirely pleasant. And like, whenever they do like seasonal events, I don't know if this is always a thing, but like the current season, it's related. It's like a ocean cleanup charity thing. So like certain like percentage of proceeds are all going to charity and stuff. And it's like, this is for one of these games, it is genuinely wholesome.
So there's no Goku
really nice.
in it.
There's no Goku in it, sadly. No.
Don't bother.
But I've still got this nagging, like, is this seriously what they did next and all they've done since? Do you know what I mean? Like one of my favorite devs of all time, and it's like, is this what they're stuck with now? I don't know. It's just such a strange one.
Yeah, so they've done nothing since.
No.
Apart from continuing to develop this, I guess.
Yeah, and they are supporting it. They're adding stuff. It does the thing that all their games have, where they make like a really beautiful, pleasant game, and then about 3/4 of the way in, they're like, haha, here's a bad level with monsters in it, and it's just really unpleasant and doesn't really add anything whatsoever. Still, I don't know why they still do that.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize this had just come out on PC. Like, just come out on PC.
Yeah.
I thought like it's still in early access. I mean, this game has obviously been on mobile since 2019, but this must be significantly different now from the one that came out originally. Now they've really just
it's weird. They
it's so big. It's the same thing.
It's weird, yeah. So that it has this really strange structure in that there's a series of levels that you travel through, and then at the end there's this thing. What's it called? Like the Eye of Eden or something, and that's like the raid at the end of the game, right? And you have to like you cooperate with like loads of other players, and you get through this like really sort of hard like sequence, and then you complete the game, and then you're back to the home area again. So those sort of core levels have stayed the same, but then there's seasonal stuff on top of that, and there's new areas, like new home areas and new levels where there's like, so the one at the moment, you put in this like, again, it's just beautiful, like these like meadows, all these mountains around everywhere, and this river running through it, and you're doing like photography challenges and stuff. And again, you're like, this is fine, this is quite nice, but is this it? This is seriously it? It's so strange. We've also been playing the Rogue Prince of Persia, which was revealed not that long ago, right? It was
it's quite recent.
Is this isn't made by the Dead Cells people, is
it?
It
is.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the one from the Dead Cells developers. And you might argue maybe a bit soon after the whatever the last Prince of Persia was called.
Prince of Persia of Lost Crown,
The Lost Crown, that's the one. But where that was a Metroidvania, this is a sort of run-based, like it's very Dead Cells. It's 2D platformer, and it's a roguelike, right?
It is
or
a
roguelike. Yeah. I do think you'll dig it though, James. I know roguelikes tend to put you off.
Just one more Metroidvania, one more roguelike, one more.
I mean, I did enjoy Dead Cells. I did have fun with that. It was a good game.
It is pretty similar in that. Yeah, you're doing these runs, and basically the plot, such as it is like your city's been overrun by an army, and you're trying to get your way back in there and sort everything out, whatever. So this is in early access on Steam. I should say we just randomly got sent a code for this #ad. Yeah. Just
See that.
sat in the well, it's on Steam, so I figured no one else wanted
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Oh God, yeah. You're
Uh,
absolutely right.
What, I was gonna play
just
this?
didn't see it. I don't.
God.
It rarely happens.
And basically it's early access, and it is early access. You know, I was talking about Hades 2 the other week, where it's like, oh man, it's like, actually, to be fair, like 90% of it is there. It's just apparently the story's not quite finished and the ending's not there yet, crucially. This is like, people on Steam reviews are like, yeah, I've cleared it or cleared what's there so far in like 2 hours. Like, it's really good, but like,
And then you fall off the edge of like a level, and then that's it. It's like
you
when
just
you
fall
have,
forever. Yeah,
it's like when I load up one of Harry's Mario Maker levels, and I'm like, oh mate, it's not done, is it? It's not done. So this has like a really interesting art style, right? It's like, look,
Yes.
Sunday morning cartoon style. Does that keep
Yeah.
that up throughout the game?
From what I've played, yeah, it looks amazing.
Okay, cool.
And there's like really like beautiful sort of like scenes in the background as well, because like which you often can't see, because wall running is a major part of this. Again, as you would probably expect from Prince of Persia game. So you kind of, as long as there's a wall behind you, you have like the limited sort of ability to kind of run basically in any direction. So you got like, so obviously there'll be loads of sequences where, you know, there's poles and bits of walls dotted around, and you running and jumping, like wall running, and then using the walls for like that extra bit of momentum to like get you to the next platform or whatever. Feels amazing. Tie that in with the combat, which is, so you know, you got like one melee weapon and then one like accessory, which is like bow and arrow or whatever. Combat's just really good fun. It's like loads of sort of mostly quite stupid sort of minion type enemies coming at you with swords or arrows again. But like some of them, but some of them have like shields. They have like a blue sort of aura around them. And then there's just sort of really nice little nuances with the combat. So like you have like a kick ability, right? And if you kick a shielded enemy, it doesn't do anything. But if you can kick a normal enemy into a shielded enemy, it takes the shield out and like knocks them both unconscious for like a couple of seconds. So you like creating loads of little opportunities by being like, right, hang on, if these guys are sort of stood here, and here, this guy's got a shield. If I kick him into him, boot him off a ledge, then I'll stab them, shoot an arrow at him. And it just flows really beautifully. Feels great.
And it's got that like really satisfying, like, because that was one of the things I liked about Dead Cells, were like when you did things like kicks and stuff, it like thud, you know, like
like sound design's amazing.
Thwack.
Yeah.
Yes,
or
that's good. That's a good episode title.
Yeah.
That.
Well, it's stolen from a book. When I grow up, I want to play for such and such. Miss
never mind then.
Buttershed. She gets a fizzy tennis ball on her ass.
Nice. So it's just no, but I believe you.
I
mean, is that phrase copyrighted, or can we say satisfying?
I don't know. I'll have to. I don't know.
I don't think you can own that, right?
Phrase.
Yeah, it's a good phrase.
Yeah.
So yeah, really good, but just can't really recommend paying money for it just yet, just because it is so early on.
How much is it? Sorry, did I miss that?
I don't know. Actually,
18 quid on Steam.
Wow. Okay.
I've no doubt it will be good. There's just not really much reason to like rush out and get it just yet. But sorry, Michael.
Yeah.
If you want, Dave, you can buy the entire Prince of Persia franchise bundle for only £55.
Oh, I thought you meant like the franchise.
Yeah,
you
I
don't want it anymore.
The franchise, yeah, the IP.
Ubisoft is skint, mate. They'll just sell anything now.
Yeah, you're right. It does feel a bit weird that they're bringing out another Prince of Persia game. I know it's another studio and I know it's something completely different, but it's like, we've not
maybe
had one
space
for a
out your
while,
IP
and now we're
licensing. I don't know.
Which, like, you know, if it was like a thing, you know, if this was like the year of Prince of Persia, and they were like, oh yeah, we've worked with loads of indie devs. There's going to be like a whole year of like loads of interesting takes on Prince of Persia. That'd be like, oh cool, but it's just the two.
It's just two in like 4 months.
Yeah.
So they could have used Rayman instead, you know, and just made it a lot more violent.
More charismatic.
Yeah.
Heroes. Yeah. The last thing I've played, although I use the term played loosely, Astra on the Meta Quest 3. So I mentioned this the other week, and Matt quite rightly pointed out it's more of an experience than a game.
Yeah.
Right. But it's have you played this, Matt? Or
I haven't, no.
Witnessed it. I really liked it. The interactivity is minimal. It's the first time I've seen like the mixed reality stuff being used outside of like the demo that comes with the Quest 3. So basically it's all about you like listening to these tapes from someone who I assume they're not real, making it sound like it's a documentary. Someone who worked at NASA in the 90s, right? And she's like recorded stuff, like her sort of musings on space and finding life on other planets and stuff. So you start off, you're in your room, right? Before you start the game, it like tells you to like pick a wall, right? So you need to pick like the most featureless wall in the room. And then it's like, right, off you go. And there's just this like cardboard box on the floor. So you crouch down and you like picking stuff, like taking stuff out, and basically, you find these tapes in this little tape player, and you put the tape in, start it playing, and and then your living room or whatever it is becomes this spaceship. So this one wall of your room then becomes your window into space, and then like as you look up, like obviously it knows where the ceiling is. It sort of continues across the ceiling. And then you just got this very basic sort of control panel, and and you're just going through like a series of planets or moons or whatever. And then you like teleport down to each one, which again is really cool because it's like, right, step into the teleporter, and you're just in your living room, like, oh yeah, there it is. I will walk over to the teleporter, and it's like this sort of white light sort of comes down, and then you're on fucking Neptune or whatever, and it's it's very cool. And then you like basically just sort of going through this process of like listening to these audio logs and like you sort of scanning for different elements and stuff. And it was just a really nice time. It took about 45 minutes, but it's still, I would still like to play a proper game that uses the mixed reality stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it feels like that's still a way off, unless Matt, I don't know if you know of anything.
There was a shooter from Resolution Games where it's like it almost looked like paintball, but that was full mixed reality. But you need a large ass space for that.
Right.
But that was like a 5-on-5 shooter. I was like, this could be really good. Obviously, you've had other games. I think Drop Dead got like a mixed reality mode, and a few of the shooters have. But obviously, for proper mixed reality to do really well, you really need a really big space, and then they've got to think, what audience has really got this kind of space. So, that's why I guess these smaller ones.
I do kind of like the idea of like a board game, and you're sitting around a table and you set the board up with other people that are wearing.
I mean, Demio's got that.
Yeah, I was going to say
All
Demio
that
just
shit
that.
sounds great. I mean, we played. They called it AR. It's not really AR, but we played AR darts this weekend.
Oh yeah.
And that was surprisingly brilliant. Like, I mean, to think that the technology's got that far now, where they had a projector just above the dartboard, and it was like projecting onto a real dartboard with real darts. And we were playing killer, and instead of just going, okay, you're number 5, remember that, it would come up all around the board. John, your turn. And then it like the whole board went dark apart from the one segment that he's aiming for to try and hit, and it hits it and it senses it, and then it all opens up and shows you the different people that you could kill when you're a killer and stuff. I just thought, oh, fucking hell. Like I know it's not mixed reality in the same vein, but it fucking felt like it. It
really worked really well. Really essentially it's just lights on a dartboard, but it really worked really. I mean, when you first it was in like a boom battle bar, and there's a bunch of these around the country. When I first walked in, I was like, how is that a dartboard if there's a screen around it? Like, and then obviously no, that's just the light. It looked, it's really well done.
Cool. I should also
tell you about the red button in the toilet as well when we do the bonus show. You got to hear about the red button in the toilet. Sorry, Sean.
It's all right. I was just going to say I completely forgot to put it on the list, but Cammy's mentioned in the chat. We played a bit of Burnout Paradise this week because we were just looking for something like one of those nights we'd played games for a bit, and it was like, what's on Game Pass that we can all just have a shot of? Burnout Paradise still absolutely slaps. It's great.
Yep.
Really.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's funny, like
still Barack Obama's campaign all over it.
It's one thing that was interesting. So playing it with friend of the show, Chris Spann, I didn't realize at the time he'd never played it before, which was mad to me because I knew he'd love it. He was like, "Oh, so he was like, I don't mean this in a bad way, but is it just you're just driving around this quite small map doing like these different challenges and stuff?" And I was like, it is small, but it didn't seem it in 2008.
It felt
It's yeah.
Felt massive.
It
Back
felt
in
too
the
big
day,
for
yeah.
me. I prefer things like Burnout 2. It just felt like this has lost the magic of
Yeah,
Burnout.
but this was so different that I didn't even think you could compare it. Like, I did miss the style of Burnout 2, but this just wasn't that, and it didn't really
Wasn't,
feel
no.
like it was.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and it,
Paradise was the first of the Burnout games that I really played and like really sunk time into,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it really didn't feel small. It felt massive because it had all those like mountain areas and stuff that you could go around as well, and it was big.
what
But
version?
again,
Yeah,
but
that
then you
was
play it
one
now,
mountain.
it's like yeah,
Yeah,
like now you play it, it's like, oh, I can drive around the entire map in 10 minutes if I want, you know. It's
Did,
weird though, like playing because it's like the ultimate version or whatever is on Game Pass.
Yeah, it's the high res version, right? They've worked
Yes.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still looks all right. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, it certainly doesn't look as old as it is. But I didn't realize like it's got loads of the weird like DLC stuff unlocked, including the fucking DeLorean, which it turns
that
out.
was
So
great.
and you can make it, float, and it turns out it's basically a fucking cheat mode. Like it's
Yeah, that's
so
what I
fast.
used.
It's like comically fast.
What did they have in
yeah.
that? Because there was the DeLorean. Didn't they have the Ghostbusters car as well?
Yes,
No.
they did.
Oh, and then did it a Starsky and Hutch car, I think.
Oh, possibly, yeah.
Was in
was
it?
it
It
Knight
was
Rider?
like it was like movie car pack, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
They
it
added-
might have
they
been
added
Knight
bikes.
Rider.
Like they did bikes,
Oh, and
which
they
was
had
like
bikes,
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it like
Good.
with the music? Like, I assume licenses have run out since then, or is it?
It's all still there as far as I'm aware. I assume they renewed the licenses when they did the
Update?
ultimate
Is the
version or
DJ
whatever.
still as obnoxious? Obnoxious. as
DJ Atomica. I'm pretty sure he doesn't last beyond the intro. I don't. Was he
Oh, okay.
always? I don't
Oh
know.
yeah,
Maybe.
he was doing live stuff about messing up podcasts and all that. Sort
Yeah,
of
so
stuff.
I think they've toned that down.
Yeah, so
which,
the legendary pack they called it
That's
had
the one,
a
yeah.
DeLorean, the XO1,
Mm.
the Knight Rider car, and I think that is the Starsky and Hutch car as well. It's hard to tell. But yeah, and then they did the toy ones as well. Do you remember the toy?
Yes.
Yeah,
Little
that was.
time
They're
lapses
really
and
hard
stuff?
to drive, but they're very funny.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
what
there was,
a game.
there was a whole extra island as well, wasn't there? That they put
Yes,
in?
There
Big Surf
was
Island.
Big Surf Island. That's it.
Loads
over
of big
the
jumps
bridge.
and stuff on it.
Yeah,
Really
yeah,
good.
Yeah. Good game.
Really good game.
I like that game. Is that it from you, Sean?
Mercifully, yes.
James Farley, you've been playing a brand new up-to-date game to leave us
have.
with before you go on your holly bobs.
Well deserved Holly Bobs.
Not-
He
not
needs a
holiday.
break. All right.
It's not a holiday.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, he's sure he can get the whole week since James forgot he has a podcast to do.
can I do my game? Is that all right?
Mhm.
Okay.
You can try.
Jet
So-
Set Farley. Well done, Ben. That is good. That is good. Fair play. That is good. Credit where it's due.
Write that one down.
So I've been playing It Takes Two, and I played this because what it was this weekend. Rachel went with Chen to Berlin because they went to see Olivia Rodrigo in concert.
Oh, nice. Was that good?
She had an amazing time. Like she was really, they had a
I'd like to
brilliant
see it
time.
live,
It was great.
but,
So me and
thought
Asha
you
were stuck at home on our own, and we were like, okay, what should we play? And we tried to play this together. I don't know, probably around when it came out, and
But he wasn't up for the drinking, was he?
no, that was one of the major problems. Whereas now he's a
Yeah.
bit older, and so he can start downing.
Time to get the facts out.
Exactly, yeah.
Set the
it's completely
facts
fine.
straight.
But no, we played this most of the weekend and had a really brilliant time. It was it's do you know, I played this and I started to feel annoyed again about Game of the Year 2021 because this okay, just let me speak, right? This should have been Game of the Year 2021 because it's constantly inventive.
What
The
was
pace-
our game of the year that year?
Death's Door. I looked it
Oh,
up.
come on.
No,
No,
don't.
this is
come
not
on,
a game
Sean.
of the year.
This was absolutely. See, and I tell you what, I regret the most of this. I wish that I had not been so drunk during that section of the Game of the Year show because I should have fought much harder for this. Because it literally everything it does, apart from the story, it completely nails. It's so good, this game, particularly when you're playing it with with other people, which is the whole point of the thing. I mean, I played it through with Matt. We played it through on stream. Had a
Did we? I
brilliant
don't remember
time.
that.
That was one of the best streams I've done. I thought it was fantastic. It was really, really good. And then playing it through again with Asher, it's so good. And I
It is
just,
good.
yeah.
No, I would have been supportive of that. I think I really did like It Takes Two. I'd have been supportive of it being Game of the Year, but it didn't get to the final though, did it? It
No, it
Takes
didn't.
Two.
I don't think it did. But it should have
Well, no
got
one likes
further
it out.
because it's just like,
Some
honestly,
fucking good games come out that year.
I think we
though.
focused a lot on the story, didn't we? Even though that's kind of obviously not really a big part of it, but we focused
Yeah,
on
the
the fact that the
story's a
story
bit
was
shit,
rubbish.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
the
like,
story-
Story's and
not great,
genuinely a bit harmful, right? Like pushing the thing that, like, oh, if kids just
Um,
wish that mummy and daddy get back
no,
together.
no, because you never completed it, and I think
Okay.
when you looked at it in context, actually, it dealt with that relatively well. I mean, the writing wasn't great,
Mhm.
some of the performances weren't great, but without wanting to spoil it, it doesn't go where you think it's going.
no.
Do you know what I mean?
And it's got the book. It's got Dr. Hakim. I mean, that
Yeah.
everyone hated, which was like,
Well, I
but,
didn't.
but I thought
He
it
was
was
a big boy,
brilliant.
that
It's
I
really
thought he
funny.
was all right. I
Yeah.
only played, Neil and I played a couple of hours of this, and we did really enjoy it, to be fair.
But no, it's
Um,
absolutely excellent. And I played it through, and I was like, why didn't this get like this? Should have got further because it's just
It's
so
got it. There were some
tight and
good
well
games that
designed.
year, though. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. That did really well.
God, was that the same
Um,
year? Fucking hell.
Metroid
Yeah,
Dread.
Psychonauts 2, Halo Infinite, Returnal and No, that wasn't the
Deathloop.
same year, was it?
Yeah.
It must have been.
it's-
Deathloop, Artful Escape, Super Mario 3D World, and Bowser's Fury.
But then I
Some
also
good
think back
games.
and I just think like, yeah, they are very good games, all of those. But none of those would I probably really go back to and play again. Whereas this, I would. And it's like because it's just, it's very good. Like, if you're playing
Destruction
with
All
someone else.
Stars. So not
Yeah.
all.
All the
Yeah,
classics.
all
Great
hits.
while you're ahead.
Maybe not that, yeah. But no,
the
it's excellent.
stars are here. Yeah, no, that is a good game. I'd like to play it through again at some point. I think I should play it with Harry at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, how long did it take? So you played the whole thing all week. How long did it
No,
take to play?
We
Yeah.
still haven't finished it. We're only halfway through, and it's a much
It's a
longer
long
game
game,
than I
isn't it?
remember. Yeah, it's like I
it's like
thought.
12 hours long, I think. 12 to 15 hours long.
And I mean, what's been brilliant about it is also because of the way we played it, Matt. I'd forgotten quite a lot of the game.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't remember this bit, and it's like there was one bit I remember very clearly though, where you're like jumping into these like sort of I don't know like space kind of things that are then making you sort of float around. And I can remember that point when we were playing it, where it was like we were at the end of a stream, and I was like, I can't go on with this.
Yeah,
Matt. I
and I
can't
was
do
like,
this.
James is so close. Yeah,
I can imagine you getting stuck on a bit and then be like, hang on, I'll see if there's like a video walkthrough. And like, oh, who are these two old men getting pissed? And
My favourite moment of all those streams was when when Matt got so pissed that he accidentally pressed a few buttons, and then all of a sudden James was like massive on the screen.
Yeah.
And Matt's going, "I'm gonna be talking now," and was
That was terrible.
and-
that after that
and
stream
the
when we did
stream
that
ends with
minigame
him
one.
going, "Why does it look like that?" And then it cuts off.
When we did that minigame thing, I was genuinely worried about that. Like after that, I was like calling in to say, "Are you okay?" I was really worried because it was. Like,
Yeah, I think I messaged you recently. I think I must have it must have lasted like a month or two, James. But I remember I watched some of these. I'm not sure why. Maybe we mentioned it on the show. We mentioned the stream, and yeah, and
I think Ian was going back and looking at old streams of ours, wasn't he?
maybe it's that. And I did watch. I watched the first one. I watched a bit of the one where because like the mini game stuff doesn't happen for a few episodes. I thought we kicked off the whole thing with that, but. Then we did. Then I sent James the can of facts, and then we're like, "Yeah, let's do this." And obviously, I smashed him on that first one, and James got wankered. And then when we came back after finishing the game, we did the mini game special, and then I lost the first one on the facts, and it was very much downhill from there.
yeah,
But,
I've never asked, and obviously I have no knowledge of these things. The facts.
Yeah.
Is it nice, or is it
No,
just the
no.
comically large
it wouldn't
cans?
be.
That make-
comically large,
disgusting.
£2, one of the worst lagers you ever drink, and that's why we
I
both
look
had
back
it.
at that and I can't believe that both of us drank like a whole one of those in one
Yeah,
go.
it's a
Like,
liter.
that's
We basically down the liter of the worst, cheapest.
Bad lager can taste like petrol.
Yeah.
Sometimes it tastes like just fucking corn.
The smell. Oh
It's a
god.
weird. Yeah, there's a weird thing about.
Yeah, the fact
bad
I sent
lager.
James a can and I was like, and I said, put on a package, don't open this until Sunday or whenever.
Yeah.
And then
That was so good. I
Makes
mean,
the
the other
fact.
one that I really liked was when we did that a way out one as well. And what
Yeah.
I remember from that was when
Hiding
we were
in the
like,
bridge.
it was escaping and like
that was
Yeah, escape.
Yeah.
That was funny.
and what- there was also in that game there's like the arcade in the garage. We
Yeah.
had that in a mini game, which that was also brilliant fun.
Yeah, Boom Bros, I think it was called. something like that.
Oh yeah, good memory. Yeah,
Man, we need another one of these. We need
yeah.
another.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you reckon,
Yeah,
do you
Joseph
reckon it's
Fares is
the
gonna
announcement
announce the name
time
soon.
on Friday?
Well, this is
Yeah,
maybe.
apparently not because I
Okay.
saw on they said it's he's not going to be at Summer Games Fest. So
Oh, I thought you
Yeah.
were going to say apparently not, because we have been told to lower our expectations. That's what we've been playing this week. Let's do a few questions and go, because we're running long, baby.
We've only got a few. Nothing from Maria this week, which is a genuine worry.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Please let us know you're okay, Maria.
Yeah.
We will send out a search party.
To where?
Why
we
do they
don't know.
call it a search party, though? It does sound like, hey,
Because
who's
of
got
all the streamers and the poppers and stuff.
who's got the
Dancing and that.
Poppers. What Poppers?
Yeah.
Okay.
All the
Not that
music.
sort of poppers, James. Don't get too excited.
Fucking hell.
Jesus Christ.
No, wrong with
James.
that, actually. It's good time with them.
If you want to send us a question,
Okay.
go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS and type some words in, and then they'll be sent to us whether we like it or not. MD Krabuffs says, "Who is your hero?" I don't think so.
That's a good question, actually.
I don't have one either.
Fireman. Fireman's.
Fireman's
Who's
called
my
firefighters
hero?
now, Dave. In fact, they have been since the 70s.
No, I've got an answer for this. I've definitely got an answer for this.
Yeah.
My granddad. My granddad was my
Okay.
hero. I loved everything about him. Loved everything about him. There wasn't
Mhm.
one thing that I disliked about the man. And I think about him all the time. Yeah, my granddad. I loved him
Yeah,
so much.
I don't. As we discussed. On
Also,
the
he
Coke and Bonus
fucking
show,
hated the Tories as well. For a bloke
well, there you
that
go.
grew up in London
Wow.
and he fucking hated the Tories. I don't know where my dad got it from.
He's radicalised.
Yeah. Also, he used to just randomly shout out, "Save the whales!" around the house, and it used to crack me up every single time. Got a lot of time for
Sounds
that,
like a
man.
cool dude.
Yeah,
I think
don't
that's
know
the
if I've got any heroes.
closest. But he wasn't a brilliant person. But Chris Seavey, aka Frank Sidebottom, just in terms of what a relentlessly weird, creative man he was. Like, whether you're a Sidebottom fan or not, the documentary they made about him is just incredible viewing. And when it, like, by the end of it, you'll just be like, I've got to make something. I need to do something. Like, because you just feel so inspired just seeing how he lived. Even though, as I say, like, you know, he was skint his entire life. He was apparently not the best partner.
Just relentlessly wanted to make people laugh.
Yes,
That was
yeah,
it.
and did.
Regardless if it was one person or, or he was on telly. Yeah. I know James is.
What?
Dave
John Terry.
Ferris. Okay.
No, absolutely not.
You think about JT, he's a true blue.
Yeah.
True blue, JT.
Captain Leader Legend.
No, I have no heroes. I've got nobody. I can't think of anyone.
Ah, don't say that. It is me, isn't it?
Do you think it's a bit of a generational thing in that we've seen so many supposedly great people turn out to not be so fucking great after all?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
you
thinking
are
that.
cautious about it now. You
Yeah.
are cautious about it.
Yeah.
So I
Um,
would've-
It's like the amount of
said-
times, like you know, like our parents' generation, they were like, oh, John Peel, fucking John Peel. I'm like, yeah, he wrote about like having his way with
don't
15-year-olds.
slag off John Peel.
I'm just saying.
He wrote about. Oh, I didn't know about that. Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
I think we can slag off John Peel then.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
David.
Well,
Yeah.
James, if it's about if the definition for you is
Yeah,
a
what is the
hero,
definition
someone
of a hero?
that saved your life, me, right? I mean, you were going through. You were just being a normal person, and I went, "Hey, kid, come on my podcast," and then suddenly.
Yeah.
Those Twitter followers went up, didn't they? A little bit of extra cash for doing our
Yeah,
bit.
David's
Yeah.
like, hey, do you want to get paid to not do a podcast? Have I got the show for you?
Remember that?
Yeah,
Remember that, James? Remember life pre me? I bet it was wild shit.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I guess slide
Wow,
doors
not
moment could have
convinced.
been. Actually, James, it could have been me and you doing interface.
That's true.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine where we'll be
No,
now.
no money in that
Freaking
though.
off.
No.
Imagine
all
how big
listeners.
we'd be by now, Matt.
I know.
You know, it was. Yeah.
How many episodes would we have done on like China? But 80% of the episodes will be on.
I still think that was the funniest fucking show. That right? We're gonna do a tech podcast, but we're only gonna talk about Apple products.
But you do
because
know there
that's
are other
all
tech
we
shows that
do.
just do that as well.
We
Gravitate
also talk
towards
about
their
other
own
stuff, and then
interests.
we realised
They
we
call themselves an Apple podcast and not a tech podcast.
Some of us who talked about China.
we did. So
There was that one episode where we talked about a TED talk.
Yeah.
Go on, man.
we were finding our feet, David. That's
Yeah,
what
we
was
did
going
like
on.
30 episodes.
Hey, I fucking gave you those feet. Yeah, just appreciate them.
Well, we
You
want
need to
different
find
feet.
'em.
Yeah, that was so
Fuck,
stupid.
Simon.
Let's
Well,
launch a
go get
tech
different feet
podcast
then.
2 weeks before TCGS.
Yeah.
Idiots.
Matt, who's your hero?
I mean, yeah. What is the definition of a hero? Because the first person that comes to
Should we
mind is
get
Kurt
on to the
Cobain.
next. Really, why Kurt Cobain?
Well, I'd think about him a lot. But like, obviously, he had his issues. But like, is a hero someone that inspires you? Is a hero that
Oh,
you
yeah,
look
it
up
can
to?
be, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, him or Ryan
See,
Gosling,
that's-
I guess.
See, I
Ryan
get
Gosling.
the Kurt Cobain thing because it's. I mean, that's always been a big thing in my life as well. But it's like, but I mean, think of it. I mean, see, I wouldn't think of him as a hero, but just as somebody that I don't know. I just felt a big connection with. I think,
Yeah,
was
I
the
think
thing.
about him like at least once a month. Like, I
Mhm.
wonder. Obviously, he's not around. I wonder what I think of the industry. I wonder what I think of new artists. Wonder what he'll be doing if he's still around. Don't know why.
But it's funny though, isn't it? Because in a way, you're saying about heroes, disappointing you or whatever. Kurt not being around anymore means he can never do that. He's never
Yeah,
going to
there's
let you
that,
down
yeah.
because there's no new events to add. So he's never
Yeah.
going to go on Joe Rogan and fucking talk about
Exactly.
conspiracy
It wouldn't be
theories. He's
like-
never gonna-
He wouldn't be on Twitter saying, "There's this great new NFT."
Let's face it, he would probably be anti-vax, right?
I don't think so. I don't
He
think
was
so.
incredibly
No.
liberal. I
No.
He'd love it.
Don't know.
It's not about
But
being
yeah.
liberal, is it?
Well,
Yeah, there's weirdly COVID made fools of people on both sides of the spectrum, didn't it?
well, yeah.
I don't think he'd have been sitting around like playing his guitar wearing a MAGA hat. Like I can't see that.
No,
it's
no,
hard to
that's
imagine.
different. Yeah, no, that's different. But yeah,
But it's just funny, isn't it? Like obviously, you would rather he was still around, but part of you is like, yeah, but that means he's encased in amber.
Yeah,
now.
he did
He's
not get a
just-
chance to,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so I think about him a lot.
Mm.
And I don't know, yeah,
Yeah, I know what you mean, Matt. Because it's it's the thing.
that's the answer.
Speaking of heroes, Greg Stilton says, just a quick thought: which one of your co-hosts do you think would genuinely get along with Duke Nukem in real life? I'm not talking about the voice actor John St. John, but the actual Duke himself. Who do you suspect from the podcast would end up being quite chummy with him? Love the show.
I don't
James
think any-
Farley.
I don't think any of us would, honestly.
Oh,
Well,
James
hang on,
Farley.
let's note down his hobbies. He shoots a lot of people, so probably none of us.
Well, aliens. I mean, to be clear,
I like
we
aliens.
all owe Duke Nukem our lives,
Good point.
but it doesn't mean we have to be his mate
yeah, he's
or
got
that he would want us.
he's got really, really bad views on
I'll
a lot
tell
of
you what.
things.
I've got a hat that I think he'd definitely like
Yeah,
okay.
from the from the Patreon bonus show. But yeah,
yeah, we got that. I mean, maybe it'd be like a kind of like odd couple, and it'd be Sean actually, like the one you suspect the
You reckon?
least. Yeah, you're like actually, I
No,
wasn't.
no,
He's
no.
the fun guy. I'm the stick in the mud. Being like,
It's
Duke,
James
you've got to
Farley.
stop talking about women like this. It's not appropriate.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
he wouldn't be
reckon-
friends with you. It wouldn't happen. It's James Farley. The answer is James Farley.
why?
Because you just look at the games that you play on Switch and go, oh, I
I
can see
don't
why
play
you like
those
these.
games on Switch. I don't know
Yes,
what
you
you're
do,
talking about.
James.
Which ones?
The,
Go on,
with
name a couple of them. Go on.
the
Stellar Blade.
one
Go on,
with-
which one?
Stellar Blade. That was on PlayStation.
Duke
but you
Nukem
played
would love
that one,
Stellar
didn't you?
Blade.
Celebrate had very good combat mechanics.
They've all got. I don't know the titles of them because they're all these what are they
'Cause they
called?
don't exist.
Graphic novels or whatever they're called, interactive novels.
Yeah, I don't play any of those.
Then why are you smiling?
I'm not smiling. I'm just trying to wait.
Smiling and
for you to tell
sort
me
of
something that
shuffling
I've
around in
played.
his seat.
I've
Like there's
never heard,
adjustments need to be made.
Yeah, I've never heard your voice that high before.
Okay, well,
I don't play them. I don't.
let's look at some of his characteristics. And I think we can maybe work out who's his best friend. He's only ever been seen in top physical condition. He's 6'4". I'm talking about James, by the way, before I get into Duke Nukem facts.
Yeah.
Right,
He's
okay,
able to
we're
bench
getting
press
down
at
to
least
that level
600
of
pounds.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's
Does he like cheese? Yes or no?
doesn't mention cheese. He's never seen me without his signature glasses, red tank top, and blue jeans.
James.
I'm wearing
James,
blue
yeah.
jeans at the moment. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
His hairstyle's platinum blonde, military style haircut.
James.
Yeah, and he's never seen me without his favourite sidearm. It is you, James.
Yeah, it is you, James. Constantly talking about his dick, James Farley.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
Duke Nukem
Answer that
3D
one.
had some very on the nose anti-police sentiments, didn't it? Which
Oh, maybe it would
completely
get on
passed
with
me
you,
by when I was 12. But I just
Oh, it did, yeah, of course. Yeah, the enemies are not.
pigs, innit?
Clever.
Final question comes from Doodle Dog Dog Biscuits. It's
So
That
there's
is
a
a
line
good
here in the wiki saying, with the president dead, Duke announces candidacy for the 69th president of the United States.
very good.
That is so clever. We'll explain that joke later.
I sometimes send questions into the pod and instantly regret sharing a useless spew of nonsense. Other times I send in questions that rightfully
Same.
don't get coverage due to length or inappropriateness. My question last week in relation to seeking the sexual advice from James Farley following persistent interruption from my neighbour's dog was both far too long and extremely inappropriate, so I've decided to get straight to the point with this one and clean things up a little bit. James, how big is your knob and what's your favourite sex position? Love from Dean.
Well, obviously massive and reverse cowgirl. There you go.
Nice.
Socials, Matt. Should we get onto socials?
Yeah, I feel sick.
Please.
There's going to be no streams on Thursday and Friday because we are getting ready for Summer Game Fest, baby. So,
Well, there is a stream on Friday. It's just not a James one.
yeah. So, Friday night, that's where Summer Game Fest 2024 kicks off. That's Friday, 7th of
You
June.
corrected Matt and you just went, yeah. yeah.
Yeah, but
We're
it's a
gonna
different-
get to that if you just fucking shut up.
different
and let
kind
me
of
do
stream. Anyway, yeah, Friday night from 10 to 10, we'll be live on twitch.tv/TCGSCO to talk over Summer
time.
Game Fest, which, I was debating whether to say this or not, but they have confirmed that's 2 hours long.
Oh,
Which
Summer
is 2 hours
Games
of
Fest is 2 hours.
2 hours of
long.
updates.
We got
Anyway, we guess that's that.
lower your
Then
expectations. Lower your expectations.
Then Day of Devs, which is always brilliant and inspiring, and I'm really forward to that. And then Devolver Direct after that. That's Friday. Saturday, you got off. You can do what you want on Saturday.
go out if
But-
you want. See
Yeah,
your
you go
friends.
out, touch grass, have a
Yeah.
beer, or have a Coke, whatever.
Have a fat.
Sunday, though, we're back for the big one, I think. 10 to
Touch
6. That's the
grass.
Xbox Game Showcase. That they've got to have
Yeah.
a big year. And then it's the PC Gaming Show, aka, as Sean's written here, the main event. That's from about 10 to 9. And we're going to have bingo cards ready. It's all on twitch.tv/TCGSCO. Watch it live. Give us your free subs if you connect your Twitch account with your Amazon account. And we're going to have a lovely old time. So come and join us for what is arguably, no, not arguably, what is going to be the greatest Summer Game Fest coverage on the internet. Fact. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/TCGS. We haven't recorded this month's Patreon bonus show yet, but we will do. And last month's and the previous ones are obviously out
Only
there.
the
You're
3rd
not
of
gonna be
June.
on the
Give us a
bonus
chance.
show, Matt. James,
So what-
you,
we've got
James,
plenty of
you're
time.
not going to be on the bonus show this month.
Oh, we'll be. It just depends when it's going to be. I mean,
It's going to be in June.
Right, okay. So it's got to
Is
be
it
in
going
the
to be
last couple
during
of
the
days
2
of
weeks
June.
you're not here?
no, I'm here. I'm here. It's just that, no. The big problem is
Can't be
that
bothered.
it's those Monday nights are a problem. But the other
Those
days,
Those Monday nights. It's all
Monday-
that old
Monday
Monday night.
Hey, it's all about those old Monday
And the trouble
nights.
is them old Monday
I'm
nights.
thinking that we just.
That's the double. But these old
Hey,
Monday
baby.
nights.
do the locomotion with me, yeah?
I think on Monday.
Those old Monday nights.
You know what they say. These old Monday nights.
James is going to be rushing around singing just another Manic Mondo
Yeah.
himself.
You know what
And
they say.
thinking, do you know what? It really is, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Those old Monday nights.
these old Monday nights. But James won't be here for ages now. Yeah, no, patreon.com/TCGS if you want to support what we're doing. Patreon bonus shows, talk servers, you name it, it's all over there. And the website's tcgs.co. For links to our amazing Discord community, loads of people chatting there. Get over there if you want to play some Helldivers and other stuff, or just chat bollocks. And podcasts, and also our store. And if you didn't hear last week, the James Farley t-shirt is officially off the market. It got taken off copyright. I'm like, okay, maybe it was a random thing. I re-uploaded it, bang, within 30 seconds, gone. we don't know what's happening. So, but as David said last week, maybe the week before, we are working out a alternative, let's say merch
Something's
provider.
going to happen that I think people are going to be happy with.
So yeah, but there is no
something's
James
coming
Fry
back.
t-shirt.
Something's coming back. And I think you're all going to be excited about what we've got planned.
Yeah, so in the meantime, many apologies, but no James Fry t-shirt. If you've got one, then that's rare now. Maybe put on eBay, probably get at least double.
Swing that on Vinted.
Yeah, we've got a limited edition there because it's not available anywhere because someone's copyrighted his face. That is it.
I'm very excited. I'm pleased to announce that I'm sad James isn't here next week because I do like having James on the show when he shows up. Next week, we have the return of Ellie Gibson. She's back, and I am extremely excited about having her back. And she's pre-warned me that she hates Xbox. So her review of the Xbox showcase is going to be worth tuning in for.
She's going to love hearing us talk about the Xbox for so long.
Yeah.
Damn straight.
Great.
We will catch you next week, unless your name's James Farley. Thank you so much for living it. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.